Well, that's a reason. He texted me today. He's like, James, he said, I would come even if it was just me. He goes, but now he goes, I got 5 people out. And he said, my wife just tested positive for flu. He said, so I don't want to come down there with that. And I said, no, dude, I get it totally. Because he was wanting to do a call in. I was like, well, I said, we can't do a call in because it's a video show. So, okay, Coach, just talk. Nope, you got him now. He didn't have it turned on.
Just count 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We're good. Okay. So yeah.
My favorite one.
What time did you talk to him?
Oh, good one. Sorry.
It was around noon, I think it was. Because we had just left Boyd and was headed to Round.
Yeah.
So it was around 11:30 noon. I don't know what I was thinking.
The Kool Hit Sports Network and Kool TV proudly present the 16th Region Boys and Girls Basketball Preview Show live from the Kool TV studios in downtown Ashland. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you in part by Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State, River Cities Builders, A&A Porta Potties, Stowe Pharmacy, Kentucky Farmers Bank, First and People's Bank, Porter Sporting Goods, Healthy Way Pharmacy, Johnny's Pizza, Smithfield Foods, and the Commercial Bank of Grayson. With the 2022-23 hoop season on the horizon, it's time to preview the field of the 16th Region boys and girls teams with your host, Jim Forrest.
Region Boys and Girls Basketball Preview Show. I'm James Carter. Jim Forrest not with us tonight, but I'll be pinch hitting for Jim throughout the broadcast. But we've got a loaded show for you this evening. We've got several teams in studio, both on the boys and girls side of things that we're going to talk about their upcoming season, as some teams get started as early as next. Scrimmages. So Ben Spicer and I today, we were very busy. We made the laps around the 16th region and visited with 9 different schools. We'll call that our overtime segment. So that'll be all over on Kool TV. But we've got a lot of material we're going to get here. We're going to talk with players, coaches, talk about their schedules, their seasons from last year, what they come up with this year, and get you ready for upcoming hoop season that gets started next Monday night. We've got Lewis County in the house. We're going to start with them first. We'll take a break. When we return, Jay Fight and his Lewis County Lions are in with us as we continue here on the 16th Region Boys and Girls Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Sports Network.
When you have business away from home or a planned event far from your comfort zone, you're probably going to need a little help. Let A&A Porta Potties assist you with all your portable toilet needs. Whether on a construction site, planning for an outdoor wedding, or any other outdoor event, A&A Porta Potties are here to assist you. A&A Porta Potties also rents out storage containers, office containers, cooling fans, tables, and chairs. A&A Porta Potties, there is no event too big or too small for us to accommodate you.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
In addition to the Greenup location, Stultz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-through. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stultz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stultz Pharmacy.
Region Boys and Girls Basketball Preview Show here on the Kool Sports Network and Kool TV. James Carr, happy to have you along with us here tonight. We've got Lewis County in the house, and we're going to start first with them. We've got all kinds of basketball action that we're going to talk with you this evening as we go throughout the evening, including our overtime period in which we've traveled outside the local area for some of the teams that maybe were in action tonight, had some stuff going on, and couldn't be with us here live, so we'll have all of that coming up a little bit later on. Well, let's start first with the Lewis County Lions and Jay Fight out of the 63rd District. Coach, thanks for coming down.
Appreciate you having us.
Well,
big time.
We greatly appreciate you coming down. So let's first start, and we'll have you introduce the 2 players you got with us, and then we'll dive in from there.
Well, we have senior Liv Campbell, our starting point guard, and we have Maddie Johnson. Liv's a 4-year starter, and Maddie's a 3-year starter. So we have some experience in the building today here with us. 17-10 last year, but not the ending that you wanted to see. You ran into a very hot Raceland team there in the district tournament that got you there in the opening round. What do you take away from the finish last year that you build off of going into this season? Well, you know, we felt like we were in the right spot. We were playing well. You know, Raceland they were a buzzsaw that night. They were knocking down threes, and we just couldn't slow them down. It didn't seem like we couldn't get the stop that we needed. So that's definitely fueled our fire a little bit. These girls can probably attest to the fact that we're not letting them forget about it. You know, and you can never get comfortable. That's the thing about it. I mean, every team in our district, no matter what round it is, you know, that you can be beaten on a given night. So hopefully we fueled their fire properly, and they're ready for this season. So.
What was something about your team from last year that you really liked about how you guys performed? And you were, even though you came up short at the end of the season where you wanted to get to, but you still liked the way that you guys performed.
Well, we got off to a rough start. You know, we had a tough schedule early on. We had some COVID things early on. I think we were 2-5 to begin with. So something that team, they were very resilient. We come back, like you said, we end up 17-10, so we had a hot ending. But we had the same starters for 2 years in a row, so that the flow was there. We could just call something. They knew what they were doing on either end of the floor. So their communication was great, really, as far as that was concerned. This year, moving in on this year, we're trying to build on that. Even though we have a couple starters that we're trying to fill in for. So we've got some younger kids, so we're expecting these older kids really to step up, kind of take over the leadership roles this year. And hopefully that's going to pay off come district time this year.
I know one player that plays so big for you is Sarah Paige Weddington, not able to be with us tonight due to illness, but you look at what she gives you night in and night in on the court, and there is no teaching moment for that. It is just pure athleticism that she goes to work with.
Well, both ends of the floor. That's the thing. I mean, inside or out, and she helps us either way. I mean, at 6 foot, she can bring the basketball down the floor if we need help. We talked to Liv, our point guard. We've seen a lot of pressure over the last 4 years, especially when we were younger. Teams really trying to attack us. But we've talked to these kids, talked to them about not fighting the pressure. So Sarah was great with really helping with that with our guards. But then being able to sit down and get a basket in the paint, that's a good feeling as a coach. We can run something simple, get an easy look. And get 2 points or get to the free throw line. And then the other kids can feed off from them as well. If they see double teams, that opens up things for our shooters on the perimeter.
When you see teams that are going to give you what you expect, the double teams going towards Sarah, and you've got shooters like both of these two young ladies setting out on the perimeter, that gives you that open look because that team's sagging off. You'll see a lot of zone defenses, I would imagine, throughout the year. How much does that hot shooting early on force those teams to jump out of that zone and get into a man-to-man?
Well, I think it's huge, and something we've definitely looked for in the last couple of seasons. I mean, if we knock down perimeter shots, we're going to be a pretty hard team to handle on that end of the floor. So we just try to keep these kids as confident as we can, know that they have green lights, and we want them to have their hands and feet ready. It's something we talk about daily, and I think their confidence level is where it needs to be, and I think they're going to help the young ones the same way. The young ones are still kind of stepping into the mold, but I don't think they're afraid of the moment.
Liv, let's start with you. The moment. Is the moment too big? When you start off as a freshman and now where you are now, how much has the game slowed down for you?
It slowed down tremendously. Like when I first stepped on the floor as a freshman, everything was so overwhelming. People were bigger, faster, stronger. It was a very drastic change from what it is now. Having
a player like Sarah Paige on the floor and everything that she brings to the table, how much does that open up everybody else around her with the abilities and the open looks that you guys get?
Oh, it helps everyone so much, and she's just she's so unselfish, and she's just a great player to be on the floor with in every aspect. She brings a lot of stuff with her game, but just her mentality and her attitude, she lifts everyone up, and she does, and that's awesome as well.
Maddie, Coach said that he's not let you guys forget about that district tournament game. How much has that been what we call bulletin board material, stuff in the locker room that you build on in the off-season conditioning, getting yourself, you're ready for this coming in? What happened in that game? Does that fuel your fire coming into the start of this year?
It fuels my fire. I'm ready. I'm ready to get it going, come back, bounce back from that,
What's the thing that you guys have really tried to buy into the most in the off season of trying to get yourself to that next level where you think you need to be, especially in the 63rd district?
We've been working on defense a lot, our shots, staying confident, like Coach Fight said, just our handles, just working on a little bit of everything to get better.
Defense, I know I've talked with Coach Five many times, defense plays into your offense. And how much do you guys look at the way that you're going to attack teams defensively this year that's going to lead to that offensive attack that you have?
Well, just walk down D, just keep the ball out of the paint and try not to let people blow by you to the basket,
Liv, for you, when you look at those defensive opportunities, and especially when you have the opportunities to jump in the press and lock teams down and you see the offensive production, does it make it a little easier to play defense, especially when you hear Coach always over there barking at you?
It does. Good defense, it brings good offense for me. It brings a lot of confidence for me as well. When you're a presence out there, it fuels your game so much.
do you remember as a freshman listening to this guy doing all this stuff, and now here you are, one of the upperclassmen? It's like, okay, maybe some of the stuff he's been talking about is probably what I need to be doing.
Yes.
Coach, let's talk about your schedule. How do you build your schedule to, again, present itself to where it gives you an opportunity to be successful throughout the season, but at the same time, get yourself ready for what you're going to see come postseason?
December is always tough for us, it seems like. I mean, we always, it's top heavy. We always, the EKC tournament, that's the first week of the season, and there's always some of the region's best teams in that tournament. So you have to be ready, right from the start, and you never really know who you're going to draw. But this year we have been fortunate. We did get a bye first round, so we've advanced to the semifinals there. But nothing's guaranteed after that. We always end up, with we're going to end up maybe catching a Russell in that. I mean, you could catch a district opponent in that. We actually have East Carter this year, or Bath County, in the semifinals. That we'll play the winner of that first round. But then, you're looking at Ashland early on. We got Fleming at Fleming right off the bat. We play Scott High, which is a different team we haven't faced before. And then, we're going to the Gateway over at Montgomery County. They've been a region. They've been strong in their region the last couple of years, and there's some good teams in that tournament as well. So we just try to open things up for these kids, and win or lose early on, we're just trying to feel our way around and figure out who we are. Good thing for you guys this year, you get districts in Vanceburg, and we know all too well that is one of the most difficult places in the entire region to go play. Home field advantage for you guys, how big is that? It's big. Honestly, though, for the girls, it's not our home court. Yeah, because you guys play at the other place, and it's a little different place as well. We're throwing around some ideas of possibly mixing the tournament up. People don't really know that yet, but I'm just breaking news. It just happened right here. Out there, we're thinking about mixing some things up for the girls. I'm sure everybody will be happy about that. But we don't know if that's going to take place for sure. But we're tossing some ideas around. We would like to play on our home floor. We have 15 home games this year, and it would be nice to finish in our gym if we can. Well, we'll certainly keep an updated ear out for that, but look forward to the season getting started, and we greatly appreciate you guys coming down. Appreciate you having us. Jay Fight, Liv Campbell, and Maddie Johnson. Don't put those two together. Thank you all so much for coming down. Best of luck this season. Thanks for having me. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue our coverage as we've got Russell boys, Raceland boys, and East Carter boys in the house, and we've got plenty more to come. That's as we continue here on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Hit Sports Network.
When you shop and invest locally, you put in motion a sequence of actions which multiplies the money that is available in our area to create jobs and provide emergency services, police, and fire protection, as well as improving the quality of education in our local schools. Shop and invest locally whenever you can. First in People's Bank and Trust Company, member FDIC. We are the home office.
You've thought for a long time about keeping your firearms and valuables safe and out of harm's way. Borders Sporting Goods has the area's greatest selection of Liberty safes and a wide range of sizes, styles, and colors. And Borders also has the Tri-State's best and most complete selection of firearms, hunting supplies, fishing supplies, archery supplies, knives, camo, and boots. From the smallest fishing hook to the largest Liberty safe, the best brands, the best selection, and the best prices in the Tri-State are at Borders Sporting Goods, Route 60 West in Ashland, where your money will be well spent.
What do you look for in a pharmacy? Healthy Way Pharmacy always takes care of any prescription needs, but also has a wide variety of home medical equipment complete with delivery service. At Healthy Way, the wait is always shorter and the prices are usually less. Call 928-1001 for any questions. They're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and Saturday from 9 to 1. Healthy Way Pharmacy and Home Medical Supply, US 60 Cannonsburg, next to the KDMC Outreach Center and in Sandy Hook.
Johnny's Pizza, 117 West Main Street in Grayson, is a small, non-chain restaurant with more than just pizza with great dough and sauces. Johnny's also has wings, subs, pastas, salads, baked potatoes, fries, onion rings, buffalo chips, pickle chips, calzones, iced coffee, milkshakes, and more. And Johnny's dressings are homemade. The friendly staff, great service, and a menu unlike any other pizza place. You'll see why Johnny's is the best. Johnny's Pizza, 117 West Main Street in Grayson. Check them out on Facebook.
Back on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Sports Network and Kool TV. Hey, if you're on Kool TV with us and you haven't already done so, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and also hit the little bell there. Anytime we put out new content, that will automatically update you with all the stuff we've got coming up. And especially with basketball season coming up, we're looking at roughly, before we get into postseason, 250-plus games that's going to be coming at you on the Kool Sports Network. So be sure to stay with us throughout. We're on all forms of social media, so follow along with us there, and we'll keep you up to date as we get into hoop season and get started here in just a little bit over a week. All right, we switch gears over to the boys' side of things. In studio with us now from Russell, we've got head coach Derek Cooksey, Carson Bloom, Damon Charles. Gentlemen, good afternoon, or I should say good evening. I don't know what part of the day it is. It's been crazy. It's been a whirlwind today, but thanks for joining us here tonight.
Well, I appreciate you guys having us tonight and let us represent my athletes about the area.
Coach, turn your mic on. We give him one thing. Now, I'm going to go to my players real quick, guys. What would happen if this right here was you? Coach going to be on the line now, right? Yeah. I don't think he turned his on either, Coach. We're going to have to get some. We got to get them on the top there. We'll get them all squared away. Yeah. We got Coach on now, MJ. I think we've got him. Coach, are you with me now?
I'm good.
Yeah, we are good. All right, so we're going to have to do some running before we get going on this. Let's talk about the season last year. What did you like about the way your season flowed last year? And what was some things that you felt like that maybe you left a little bit at the finish line?
Well, I mean, going into last year, there was a lot of expectations. We had a really close-knit, experienced senior group. They had to kind of learn throughout the past couple years that I was there earlier, and they placed a lot of those expectations on themselves. And I thought overall we had a tough schedule. There was a couple of things, typically teams go through adversity throughout the course of the year, and we'd discussed before, we went through some sickness. We also had some cancellations. And it seemed like, there was a period of time where we didn't get to practice. But they could have made excuses, and we bounced back and were able to overcome that stretch of the season. And I really thought that was kind of the catalyst down the stretch. Our guys understood that things don't always go your way. You got to face adversity. And our senior leaders, they really provided that leadership for us to get through that point throughout the season.
Having guys like a Brady Bell, like a Bradley Rose, that did so much for your team. A Griffin Downs, that they had been there, they had done that. Setting the tone for guys like we have here with us this evening, how much does that help kind of set those expectations to continue as they move on?
Oh, tremendously. I mean, if you want to have a program that survives and basically builds something sustains upon, you got to have guys that lead by example. And these guys are no different. I mean, they basically carried the torch, so to speak. From the time we were in the off season, we hit the weight room hard. Conditioning, we really challenged these guys, and they've had the mindset that they want to achieve what last year's team did. So those guys kind of set the example, and they learned from the ones before them, and these guys have been no different. So we've really relied upon their leadership, and we don't have much experience coming back this year. Carson, on paper, is the only returning starter, and Damon played starter minutes, so he was the sixth man, so to speak. So we're going to rely upon these guys, especially early on in the season, to get some of these guys that don't have as much experience and some youthful players through that.
How much were the expectations laid out to the team to where they don't look at the statistics sheet and you see a Brady Bell 25 points and think, okay, we have to replace that with one person because it's not going to happen?
No, it's not going to happen. I think we have some guys that are capable of putting the ball in the basket, but Brady's a special player. One thing that was unique about him, he liked to get other people involved. He understood, and he knew when to take over and when to basically lead the team. These guys collectively, they play really well with each other. Very unselfish at times. I'll tell them maybe too unselfish. So that's one thing we've really worked on is, the ball's got to go through particular people. We've got to basically play a system where, I don't know for sure on paper, and basically we've only played one preseason game. We want to basically share the basketball, but defensively we're not going to change our mentality. They know that we prepare hard. We want to basically kind of hang our hat on our defensive end so that night in, night out, we can compete.
Being able to go to the glass, I know that's something that you and I talked last year and in years past from your time at Fairview. That was always one of your big kind of catalysts that you wanted to see of your team.
Yeah.
How much have you challenged your team this year to get on the glass?
Oh, a lot. A lot of times, Damon, for instance, he was probably one of our second or third leading rebounders on the team, which you can't rely upon Damon. He's going to set the tone for us, but, collectively, it doesn't matter what position you're in. Especially like if you're on the defensive end, you've got to clean it up. You don't want to be, we love defense, but at the same time, you don't want to stay on it all night long. So I think collectively we're going to have to go to the glass, have that mentality that we want to basically control the glass. And once again, on those nights where things maybe aren't going your way, when you get a second, third chance opportunity, it makes all the difference in the world.
Having ability to have Carson last year at the point guard position and getting those minutes on the floor with someone like a Brady Bell, now finding your new identity, how big has that been for him?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, Carson will be the first to tell you that he knew his role last year was to facilitate the basketball, get us into our set, facilitate the basketball. It didn't take many shots. Sometimes I got on him, especially down the stretch. I think he proved that he was capable of hitting those shots. So he'll be more aggressive from that aspect this year. We've also got some guys to allow him to have some flexibility. So both these guys will rely upon on both ends of the floor early on in the season, and allow other guys to get experience and kind of play off their own experience.
Carson, for you, having that experience from last year, as you said, being the facilitator, but this year knowing your role has to be expanded as the point guard, as a scoring threat as well. How much have you taken to those challenges and kind of set yourself those personal goals of this is what I have to achieve for us to be successful?
Yeah, it's something I focus on every day. I make it a priority and realize that I'm the guy now alongside Damon. I'm a senior and I have to step up.
What was it that you took away from the game last year that you brought with you this year that you felt like was a good foundation that you can build something on to take yourself to that next level?
I would just say my experience. Last year I was put into a lot of different situations. And like Coach said, with Brady Bell as my teammate, I was able to rely on him, but also I had to score the ball sometimes. So.
Have you noticed that the game seems like, especially toward the latter part of last year, did the game seem to slow down for you at times?
Yeah, absolutely. I think moving from the junior varsity level to the varsity level is a big jump. And, it wasn't that difficult, but I had a good foundation around me.
Understanding how to deal with the pressure that you see at the varsity level, how big of a challenge was that for you?
It's a big crowd. The lights are up, and you got to perform. But being on the court with my guys, and it starts at practice. So yeah.
Damon, for you, like Coach said, you may have started last year, but you played starter minutes, and one of those guys that they're going to really rely on this year to get on the glass. Has that been something that Coach has really challenged you with starting off this year?
Yeah, he tells me to get off the defensive end, you got to rebound the ball, and we don't want to play defense forever.
Knowing that, that's kind of where he's going with, is challenging you on the defensive side of things, because again, you don't want to play defense, is get that defensive rebound on that first opportunity and get it transition to offense. Is that kind of what the mentality is this year for you guys?
Yeah, Coach prides us in our defense. He works really hard on defense.
Offensively, when you guys get in the set, with the size advantage that you have and the height advantage in the post, do you see a lot of things working toward you in the post where you guys can work inside out with the offense?
Yeah, we've been working that on practice, kicking out when I see double teams or such stuff like that.
The guys that's, I know with the way you guys have always played before, the guys in the post have been able to kick to those wings for those open looks, and that high shooting percentage that you guys had from long range. Is that kind of something you guys have been working on in practice again to continue that same kind of offensive attack from hitting those long range jumpers?
Yeah, we really work on getting the ball inside out because it's easier that way, I guess.
Carson, for you, dribble drive, how much has that become a part of your game more this year than last?
I'd say, taking more of a scoring role, I need to get inside. I can't always rely on the three-point shot, so it's very important for me.
Coach, when you have someone like this, you've got Damon that can work the post, and he can do so much in there. You've got other guys that you're going to be able to put around him that can work in, but you've also got the guys that can go dribble drive. You can stand on the wing. You've got the different options to go with. As a coach, where do you put your focus on the most? Is it a game-by-game type of mentality, or do you play your style of ball and let everybody adjust to what you're going to give them?
Well, that's what we've talked about this, and I've been very open with having these guys that's having the experience and having other guys that are just chomping at the bit. Practices have been very intense and very competitive. Right now we've been trying to shuffle in 10, 12 guys, and we'll continue to do that as long as people are playing within the system. But at the same time, we're going to kind of see, I think we have the capability of playing off the mid-post and playing off the post and letting things develop. I think we shoot the ball probably as a whole better as a team. We have the capability of doing that. It's just, like once again, putting things that we do in practice, into games. And we don't know how things are going to unfold and how they're going to respond to things. But the season's very long. We open up with some tough tasks, and we're going to find out real quick if the system that we foresee as playing this year is going to work.
Let's talk about your schedule. And again, playing in the 63rd district, it's night in, night out. It's always a task and a challenge because you can be a hero or a zero in any given night. But at the same time, how does your schedule set you up for that run that you're going to make in postseason?
Well, I mean, this year we just happened to, we started a series with Martin County. They're a really good basketball team. I think some people have them picked top 3 or 4 in that region. So we're going to get a test there opening night on the Tuesday the 29th. And we turned around, we drew Rowan County in the first round of the EKC.
I talked to Coach Sacker today.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like me and him always find each other, no matter if it's a tournament, postseason play as well. But we know that those 2 programs are going to kind of let us see where we're at. They're very good basketball teams, and that's one thing we looked at. Probably in the past, I haven't looked at this too much, but with the number of inexperienced players we have and the youth that we have that we're trying to develop for varsity basketball, we've stayed away a lot from the 3-game weeks. I mean, we have maybe 1 before Christmas. So we really try to put a focus on, get our games in, play quality opponents, but get enough practice time, enough preparation time for our guys. And then after the new year, we kind of start the traditional 3-game week. So, the season is pretty condensed. I think we got 28, possibly 29 games within the season, and it's going to be a task for us, and it's a long road. You never know what's going to happen. Unforeseen things with sicknesses and injuries happen. So guys have to be ready to step up and take advantage of their opportunities.
Taking advantage of those 2-game weeks before Christmas, especially with the youthfulness of the roster that you said you had, how much does game footage give you that expectations of saying, here's where you didn't meet, here's where you need to be?
We are, and all coaches are. We all have got access to film. That's one thing I think that we've really changed the mindset in the last couple of years is attention to detail. Going in, giving an honest assessment. We've already done that this year. Looking at what you did well, what areas can you improve on, and not being too critique, but basically understanding that in order for us to get to where we want to get to, we got to show improvement. So film room prep is a huge asset to schools this year, or now in basketball, and we want to continue to help kids grow because they're trying to learn the game.
Guys, thanks so much for coming in tonight. Best of luck this season. Look forward to covering you guys this season as well.
Thank you very much, James.
Derek Cooksey, Carson Bloom, Damon Charles joining us here on the program. All right, let's take a break. When we return, we've got Raceland and East Carter in the house, as that is, we'll call the first half of the game. We've got second half action coming up with Morgan County, West Carter. I think who else we got here? East Carter, West Carter, Morgan County, Fairview. And then the overtime segment, we've got 9 different teams that we're going to make the ventures toward as we actually visited their gyms earlier today and yesterday. That's as we continue here on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Sports Network.
Smithfield Foods in Grayson is a proud community partner, taking pride in providing a safe and friendly environment for their workers and for the community. Smithfield Foods is always ready to support our growing community any way they can. Smithfield Foods is the world's largest pork processor and hog producer, and they're committed to providing good food in a responsible and environmentally safe way. Proud to be a part of the community. Smithfield Foods in Grayson.
Home is where you hang your hat. And if you're looking for a newer, nicer home to hang your hat in, talk to the Commercial Bank of Grayson. You'll like our selection of fixed and adjustable rate mortgages and competitive rates. We also offer construction loans, auto loans, online and mobile banking, and many other services. Commercial Bank of Grayson, Grayson and Olive Hill, here for you for 125 years and counting. And you can hang your hat on that. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
For those on the go, the smoothie connoisseur, the break room favorite, and for those that just never quite have it all, Clark's has what you need to keep your day on track. Make life easier and keep your busy schedule moving forward with everything you need at Clark's. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back here on the 16th Region Boys and Girls Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Sports Network. First half of action here We just finished up with Russell boys. We've had Lewis County girls, and we're going to stay in the 63rd district here. As joining us now in studio, we've got Raceland in the house. Head coach Joe Bryan. Coach, thanks for coming in.
Appreciate you having us.
Hard to believe here we are talking about basketball season. I was talking with several coaches here today, and I said it seemed like it was just March a few weeks ago when we were playing regional tournament, but here we are now getting ready to make another run. If those players had been there from the word go.
Yeah, definitely. You're playing kids who may not see that clock in February, but if injuries happen, sickness happens, those kids will be ready because they've got some December games, a lot of practice time from October 15th on. And these guys will tell you we didn't kind of hit our stride last year until our football guys got really healthy and started helping us a ton in January in practice.
You lose an Andrew Floyd, a Kyle Broughton. They could score it so many ways, and they could score it in gross when they needed to. What was the message to the team this year when you come in of understanding that you've got a sizable chunk of your scoring gone, but you're not going to replace those with just one person?
Yeah, I think we got several guys that are that are primed and ready. A lot of people probably don't know the name Christian Large, but he's sitting here beside me. And
I do know.
We got a good
just
feeling.
a little bit.
He's have a big year. He had 27 for Saturday. He can score the basketball. We got some. Connor Thacker had a really big game. We know what Jacob Goss could do. But we've got Jules Farrell coming back out to the team from football. Our starting point guard, Landon Newman. Holden Topics coming off of injury. So we've got a lot of guys that are coming back that are very capable, and we're excited to see them have that chance.
How big is it for Christian to go out in that preseason game, get 27, and kind of build that confidence role while it's right now a team for him to be in charge of?
Yeah, Christian knows what he can do. He's worked as hard as anybody we've got. He's in the gym probably more than anybody we have. He's always coming to get my badge, my keys, getting in the locker room, getting the gun out. 6 a.m. I have to put it in my mailbox and just grab him in the morning, Christian. He spends a lot of time. He's worked at it. He was very unfortunate last year. First game of the year, he breaks his jaw. Catches just bad luck. So we're really excited for him and what he's going to be able to showcase.
Offensively this year, what do you look at being able to do? I know before you guys could really spread it out, work inside out with Jacob in the post. But this year, do you see the same type of philosophy, or is there other ways that you feel like that you can attack the basket?
Well, we've got a couple of different ways. We initially installed an offense for our two post players, but since then we've lost one to injury, Connor Sutton. But Connor's going to be okay. He'll come back strong next year for us, and we're really excited. He deserves to have a big senior year. But we know what we have in Jacob Gause. Jacob Gause knows what he has now. One of the things that we really struggled with was getting Jacob to be aggressive. Well, this season, going into senior year, I think he sees the writing on the wall, and he's done a really good job for us, playing a lot more aggressive and looking for his shot.
I think last year Jacob was kind of one of those guys, maybe he's a hidden treasure along the way. Teams know what he has to bring to the table now. How much does that kind of put him on notice, I should say, of teams are going to be out there ready to go for you?
Yeah, he's got to realize that as well. They know who he is now, but he's athletic enough. He shoots it well enough, and he's got post moves and defensively, we know what he's going to bring every day. So he'll be just fine.
Jacob, when you look at the way that you played last year, especially when you break it down into the two halves, second half of the season, you really saw that aggressiveness, that physicality from you start to really kind of play its presence. For you, could you tell the difference in the way that the season was approaching for you when you played on the post?
I definitely could tell a difference because Coach was showing me how the aggression opens up so much more in the offense for everybody else to get looks.
When you get that post presence going on, especially when you're working on that offensive glass, how much more does you see because of that ability open up other guys around the perimeter, or those short range jump shots, Christian streaking down the middle for a dump off? How much does that get you going?
It really gets our whole team going. The easy buckets, the fast break points gets our team going just like that from a snap of fingers.
Last year, what was something you took away after the finish of the season that you go into this year with, saying, this is my goal that I want to try to step forward to and build myself into that player I feel like I can be?
Definitely being more of the shooting, drive to the rim, less confined to the post, but still keeping my role in the offense.
Speaking of that, is that something that you've worked on, maybe establishing that mid-range jumper to where you can kind of step out a little bit but still offer that head fake and dribble drive?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Christian, for you, 27 points earlier this week. How big is that for you to start the season?
Really starts to build my confidence up. Starts to build the team up, too. Once we get our energy going, the whole game gets going.
For you, like Coach said, a crazy injury there in the first game of the last season takes you out for the entire year. How much motivation did that have for you coming into this of the energy, the drive of just getting back on the floor?
I understand what I have to do to get back, and that really drives me to keep going.
Is it something that you know what it feels like to have something like that taken away from you, and now it puts you that will to continue to not have that taken away again?
Of course.
Looking at your offense this year, what's something that you feel like you bring to the table that allows this team to continue going forward?
Definitely shooting. Passing, mostly passing.
You look down on the post, you see big 33 down there. How much does that make your job a little bit easier?
Dumping it off to him every time.
Every time. Coach, you've got one of the biggest post players in the entire region, and like you said, he brings that level of physicality this year that maybe you didn't see last year. How much more do you think that can elevate his game to that next step?
Yeah, last year we were on to him. We wanted him to be a double-double guy, average 10 and 10. He came really close. This year the expectations are a little more of that, 12 and 12, maybe 15 and 12. So, Jacob's really skilled. His level of aggressiveness is just what, I wouldn't say held him back, because he was still a really good player for us. But to reach his full potential, he's just got to be aggressive and from the mindset of, every once in a while I can be selfish and just go get mine.
Looking at your schedule, we've already talked a little bit on the front half of that, but after you get past the turn of the new year, what do you like about your schedule that's going to really press you and get you ready for postseason?
Before the new year, we've got Johnson Central. After the new year, we've got Ashland and Boyd. We beefed it up a little bit. We're going to play some tougher, some bigger schools, and all that does is help you get ready for the postseason.
You look at some of the guys that you still have yet to come. Where do you think the ceiling falls for this team this year coming in with the options that you have? Are you going to be a high motor team, or is it going to be a team that you want to try to keep things 50, 60 points a game?
No, we're going to try to push it out there. Landon Newman coming back from, at the point guard position. Landon, he knows exactly what we want, and he really matured as a point guard last year. So we're really excited to get him out and get him pushing the ball. We've got athletes on the wings, and our 5-man down there is pretty athletic as well. So hopefully we can get the ball out in transition. But, we all know that good teams win in February when they're good in the half court, defensively and offensively.
That's what I was going to say. Defensively, I know you guys more of a half-court type of thing, but do you see more of the pressure, or is it more of that really get up in teams in a half-court?
To be determined. Last year, I wanted to press a lot more than we did. We just never could get our footing, and until we get the 4 or 5 athletes we're getting from the football team, I can't tell you yet.
I know you and I, we've been around each other for a long time, and I know your philosophy is a lot like mine. You like to press. For you, how difficult was that as a coach to have to pull that back a little bit and maybe sit down in the half court?
I think every coach loves to guard in the half court, and we do shell drill every day like every other coach in America. But in the end, you want to speed it up and get up in people and make the game a little more fun for the fans and the players. If everybody can score in double digits, that helps a whole lot. But we'll adjust. We adjust to however we need to play, whatever makes it best for our team that year.
We're certainly looking forward to having you guys on with us this year. We'll have all the home games on Kool TV, and several of the road games will be traveling with you well. So looking forward for a great season.
Always appreciate your coverage.
Always. Joe Bryan, Christian Large, and Jacob Gauze, 3 members from Raceland basketball. Let's take a break. When we return, East Carter's in the house. We'll continue with them as we continue here on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Sports Network.
When you have business away from home or a planned event far from your comfort zone, you're probably going to need a little help. Let A&A Porta Potties assist you with all your portable toilet needs. Whether on a construction site, planning for an outdoor wedding, or any other outdoor event, A&A Porta Potties are here to assist you. A&A Porta Potties also rents out storage containers, office containers, cooling fans, tables, and chairs. A&A Porta Potties, there is no event too big or too small for us to accommodate you.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. In addition to the Greenup location, Stultz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-through. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stultz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stultz Pharmacy.
Back here on the 16th Region Boys and Girls Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Hit Sports Network. James Carter, happy to have you along with us here tonight. Big thanks to Raceland Basketball for joining us here in studio. Again, we'll have all of Raceland's home games as well as several road games on Kool TV. Again, if you're not subscribed to Kool TV, jump over there, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and then that little bell beside it. Click on that. Anytime we put up new material, which is often, that will give you an alert and let you know there's new material out there from the Kool Hit Sports Network and Kool TV. A big hat tip to my partner today, Ben Spicer. He's out doing a lot of other stuff, getting some more material to put up on our social media things. All of our graphics we're going to be running through this year. But Ben was out running around with me today as we were filming what we call Overtime. That's the segment coming up after the second half of the show tonight, in which teams that wasn't able to make it in live today, we got around and was able to get in touch with them on their home floors and their locker rooms. Had a lot of fun with that throughout the afternoon. All right, we've got East Carter in the house, Cole Brammer, Blake Hall, and Evan Goodman. Gentlemen, thanks for coming in.
Appreciate you having us. Thank you.
Coach, we talked about this last year. Rookie season, the first win took a little bit, but when it came, things also came with it. The patience of your team last year, how big was that of just staying the course and letting those wins start coming as they did?
Well, I think the biggest thing was, and that says a lot about the team and the kids that we had. We didn't get off to the start we wanted. A lot like Coach Brown was just talking about with their football team this year. You get your football guys late like we did last year, and it shrinks that preseason down quite a bit. So, it did take us a long time there to really find ourselves, even on into January. We had to use December as preseason, like you and I talked about multiple times, and it says a lot about our kids. They really dug deep and was able to hang in there, and we really liked where we got to.
First-year head coach, program not going in the direction a lot of people wanted to see it early on. Your team stayed bought in.
Yep.
How big was that for not only for the program itself, but just the mantra there at East Carter of letting you kind of find your own identity?
Yeah, well, we all knew, getting started there probably wasn't going to get a smooth sailing thing like we wanted it to happen. And, I've said it 100 times. That's just a ton of credit to our kids. They stayed bought in, and they really battled with us. And we just kept preaching every day. If we come to work and get into practice and get to where we want to be, we'll win a lot of games in January and February, and we were able to do that.
Being around the program, not only as a player, but also as an assistant there with Brandon, how much did that help you make that transition as you came into your first head coaching job?
It was. It was an easier transition. We were already into practice there. We had a summer ball together, so it made the transition pretty smooth. Been around these guys a long time, along with several other guys on the roster. Been with these guys since they was in their middle school days, so made it easy, very comfortable with the kids, and smooth transition. And the best thing about it was we never wavered and just kept battling.
So a question I've got, and I'm not for certain, and you may not be able to answer this: are you still the youngest head coach in the 16th region?
I don't think so.
Does Reese get you up in Morgan?
I think Coach Wilcoxon at Rose Hill also. We talked about that last year when we played each other. So I think it's pretty close, though. It was always right there in the mix.
It's always good to be the old man, right?
Yeah, get out and get some experience.
62nd District. It's a gauntlet every single night. It doesn't matter where it is, what it is, who it is. It's going to be a battle.
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked about that time in, time out. You can have some of your better teams that you've had in previous years and not make the regional tournament, or you can have some of the teams that you've struggled and really not been where you wanted to be all year, and then you find yourself playing pretty good basketball late February, and next thing you know, you're in the regional tournament. So you never know what to expect with our district. It's always going to be a battle, and game in, and every district game is always a war. You see upsets happen every year. the teams that's supposed to win and things like that. That's just not how it's always worked in our district. If you're going to get a district win, you've really got to dig deep and be willing to battle and get it.
Getting through the 62nd district, how much do you think teams can battle their way through that and really feel like when they get to Moorhead, it's almost like a collective sigh of relief there in that first round?
Yeah, well, getting to the regional tournament, was obviously a big deal for us last year. That was one of the goals that we set out very early last year. We wanted to make sure that was something we could do. And, our guys staying the course and being able to do that was a big thing for not only last year's team, but our program going forward. You got to get into the regional tournament and get comfortable playing at LST Johnson Arena.
Let's talk about your team thus far in preseason. What's some stuff that you built off of last year, especially the success you saw down the stretch, that you've been able to take into this year and start really what you would call true year one?
Yeah, we definitely feel, I think all of us included, these guys would attest to that. We're definitely a lot more comfortable this year. We're getting more of a full preseason than we had last year. So, there's really no changes. Everything's just a lot more comfortable with us. And, as well as everybody else does, we hang our hat on the defensive end of the floor. We're really going to try to guard you and get after you defensively, and then we've got to rebound it at a very high level, and then hopefully push the basketball up the floor and see what we can do.
I know one of the common terms, I'm sure, is probably still hanging around there. It's either 5 or 55 at East Carter. Which one do we see the more? Look at these guys; they're over here laughing. Which one do we see more of, 5 or 55?
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Never know. Could change each night.
Exactly. What do you look at these two guys that you got with you here? What's the thing that you see that they bring to the table that's going to give you that kind of added advantage that you need there in the 62nd?
Well, the big thing with these two is they've been up with us at the high school level since they were 8th graders. They played in a lot of JV games as 8th graders, and then as freshmen they were thrown into some varsity action. So a lot of these guys, or both of these guys, really are 2-year starters for us. So they've kind of been in. They know what it's like. It's not going to be a surprise to them. So the advantage that gives us is for them now going into their junior year with so many games under their belt, is they're really able to lead our other guys who are, maybe are just now getting minutes, and they set the tone for us.
Blake, for you, what's the biggest thing that you've noticed after a couple of years at the varsity level, now coming into the junior year, that you get to kind of watch the game develop in front of you? How big has that been?
It's been huge. I've calmed a lot down on the floor. When I get the ball, I've calmed down a lot. I see the floor a lot better. And mostly my offensive game has came in a lot. Coming in as a freshman, I was mostly defensive. I didn't get a lot of baskets. I did a lot of the dirty work, which I was fine with that. And I think me getting older and seeing the game a lot more, my offensive game has came a lot stronger.
Knowing what you can bring to the floor with the defensive side of things, how much has that given you those opportunities on the offensive attack?
It gives me huge because, you get steals, layups. Defense was ball games, and that's what our team's going to strive to do this year, is we're going to try to win on defense. We're obviously going to put the basket in on offense, but defense is where we're going to come and get our most points at.
Evan, for you being out front so much, you're one of those guys that really forces that havoc on that defensive side, and you get that turnover out in their midcourt, it's an easy layup. Does that help you really ratchet up the way you play defense?
Yeah, because if your three-point shot isn't falling, you can get an easy bucket, and the shots start to fall.
What's the biggest thing that you've taken away from last year with the first year with Coach Brammer that you bring into this year and kind of see things that have almost built a foundation for what you started with last year and what you're going to build upon this year?
Well, last year I was one of those football guys that came in late, and I didn't get off to a start like everybody else. And this year I'm going to look to be more aggressive and set up my teammates.
We talk about this all the time. Football guys getting their basketball legs underneath them. Do you feel like that your basketball legs are underneath you a little bit earlier this year?
A lot better than last year, yeah.
What's the one thing that you feel like that you bring to the team that is maybe that's something special that the team has?
Outside shooting, and I'm going to try to get in the boards this year.
Having the ability to hit that outside shot, whenever teams really try to want to zone you up a little bit, having that ability to try to shoot them out of that zone, how much does that open up what you guys can do offensively?
Well, you can when you can hit that outside shot, you can hit them with a ball fake and then drive in and get a either 15-footer or a layup.
Blake, for you working, I'm guessing down low, a lot of the stuff that you're going to be doing. Obviously, your goal is take care of the basketball when it touches you on the post and get after it on the glass.
Yeah.
How buying into those two things of knowing your touches are going to be point blank and a lot of physicality, how much has that gotten you to where you're ready to go for this year?
It's been huge. Last year, I was a big impact on the boards for us, and this year I come to do that same thing. It gets me more up top with me maybe handling the ball a little bit more this year. It gets me a little bit more, can handle pressure, and I hope to just pick it up from last year and keep moving forward.
Coach, I know with the way East Carter basketball's been all the way from when I played all the way through now, it's transition basketball.
Yep.
And then you settle things down and you get the look that you want to.
Yep.
And I could remember running a play for 90 seconds if you need to get that look, but the first look comes in transition.
Yeah, well, and that's how everybody is. I think defensively, for us especially, and these two guys would tell you, we want to guard you really well on the defensive end. We want to cause havoc, be able to turn you over, and everybody wants to play in transition and play fast, get an easy basket, kind of get you settled in. But me and you both know that when it comes down to, late February, the good teams are going to be able to execute in half court, and that's what we spend a lot of time on, execution. Obviously we want to get out in transition, but if you're going to win the big games, late in the season, postseason, you got to be able to execute in half court.
One of the things I've talked with several coaches tonight, and we point to the ability to share video with everyone makes it so much easier this year. Having the ability to really execute in the half court because of the ability of teams to be able to see what you can do.
Yeah.
How much does that really pay off, especially in that timeout 2 seconds ago and you got to draw something up on the board?
Yeah, it is, and it's very important for us. The stuff that we go over, to be able to execute that stuff late game, we go over it every day. These guys, especially by January, February, should know it like the back of their hand. I think there's been a couple times one of these two might look at me in the timeout, and they already know what we're going to run. And that just goes from repetition and us being on the same page and being bodying.
I still can't. I get the biggest kick when I say 5 and 55, and they both over here laugh.
Nah,
it's always.
They know what you're talking about.
They know what you're talking about. Tell me about your schedule. How does that schedule prepare you for not only what you see in the 62nd, but more importantly, what you want to do of trying to get back into the 16th region?
Yeah, the main goal here for us is to get back into the 16th region tournament, get back at LST, go over there and then put ourselves in position to win a game. And I think that's everybody's goal is to win games in the regional tournament and be able to advance. So we need to be able to do that and move forward again this year, just like I'm sure 16 other teams in our region feel the same exact way. But with our schedule, you can't take it too lightly. You obviously want to have a good balance in your schedule. I think Coach Cooksey said earlier when he was on, talked about the EKC tournament. That's something, it's got all the names in it, and we jump into it week 1 every year. So you're always getting a good team in that. This year we host Bath County in the first round, which will be a big game for us. And you just got to keep that balance, and it's good to be battle tested. I think when you see the teams that are really hitting their stride late February, you can go back and look at their schedule, and they've been in some dogfights for sure.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to covering several of those dogfights here on Kool Sports Network and Kool TV. We'll be with you guys throughout home games as well as some of the road games, but glad to have you on board with us.
Appreciate it. Thank you for your coverage.
Guys, thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Best of luck this season. We'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a break. When we return, we've got Morgan County girls in the house. Coach Young, I'm disappointed. He's not wearing the right shirt. We'll talk about it when we continue. This is the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Sports Network.
When you shop and invest locally, you put in motion a sequence of actions which multiplies the money that is available in our area to create jobs and provide emergency services, police, and fire protection, as well as improving the quality of education in our local schools. Shop and invest locally whenever you can. First in People's Bank and Trust Company, member FDIC. We are the home office.
You've thought for a long time about keeping your firearms and valuables safe and out of harm's way. Borders Sporting Goods has the area's greatest selection of Liberty safes and a wide range of sizes, styles, and colors. And Borders also has the Tri-State's best and most complete selection of firearms, hunting supplies, fishing supplies, archery supplies, knives, camo, and boots. From the smallest fishing hook to the largest Liberty safe, the best brands, the best selection, and the best prices in the Tri-State are at Borders Sporting Goods, Route 60 West in Ashland, where your money will be well spent.
What do you look for in a pharmacy? Healthy Way Pharmacy always takes care of any prescription needs, but also has a wide variety of home medical equipment complete with delivery service. At Healthy Way, the wait is always shorter and the prices are usually less. Call 928-1001 for any questions. They're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and Saturday from 9 to 1. Healthy Way Pharmacy and Home Medical Supply, US 60 Cannonsburg, next to the KDMC Outreach Center and in Sandy Hook.
Johnny's Pizza, 117 West Main Street in Grayson, is a small, non-chain restaurant with more than just pizza with great dough and sauces. Johnny's also has wings, subs, pastas, salads, baked potatoes, fries, onion rings, buffalo chips, pickle chips, calzones, iced coffee, milkshakes, and more. And Johnny's dressings are homemade. The friendly staff, great service, and a menu unlike any other pizza place. You'll see why Johnny's is the best. Johnny's Pizza, 117 West Main Street in Grayson. Check them out on Facebook.
Back here on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Sports Network and Kool TV. Big thanks to East Carter Boys Basketball joining us here in studio. Always a pleasure talking with Cole Brammer and his team. And again, this is our second half, as we'll call it. We've got post-game. Well, before we get to post-game, we got to go to overtime. And that is all of the teams that we got around and visited today, teams that were not able to make it in tonight because of other commitments. Some teams were playing in scrimmages tonight. So we made the visit out to their facilities. That will come up on Kool TV. So those of you who are with us on Kool 105.7, you can join us on Kool TV to catch the overtime section. For those of you with us on Kool TV, just stay tuned. We've got lots of stuff to follow throughout the evening. Well, in studio with us now, all the way from Morgan County, we've got Derek Young and his Morgan County Cougars in. Coach and ladies, good evening.
Good evening. Appreciate you having us, man.
Well, thanks for coming down. I mean, again, making the trip all the way down from West Liberty, we greatly appreciate it. But the one thing that I will say is that when I started putting this thing together, and I wanted to get teams that was not only just in the area, but teams that's going to do something throughout the region. And one of the first teams I looked at and saw there was Morgan County. You guys have really turned your program around and done some phenomenal things.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And I think it's done tremendous for our kids. Jenna and Emma have done great for us. And really, our youth coming up through us seeing success, and they start to believe in our middle school program and our youth program is really building.
For you, when you took the job and you look at where the program was when you came in, what was the first goal that you had?
Our mentality, the atmosphere, just the mentality of whoever we play, we're going to fight. We're going to come out and give you the best shot we got. My first year of the game, I really remember that I felt things were turning around. We was playing Powell County at home. We got down 17 at the beginning of the fourth, and we come back and won that game. And I think from that moment on, our kids started to believe in a different way. And I think that's really set our program in a good trajectory.
When you have a program that struggles to find ways to win, how important is it they have to learn how to win rather not a way to lose?
That's right. When you're always looking for excuses and why you can't win, you won't. So we had to change that. And every time we call a timeout or we'd feel that momentum shift, we just encouraged and pushed and just said, keep fighting no matter what the outcome is or the scoreboard. You keep working, and it's going to pan out for you.
What did you like about the way your team finished last season?
Oh man, I think the way we fought. Once again, it's just our kids come at you. We had an injury late in December or in January that led up into the district, and that's kind of hurt. But we had young kids step up. We had a freshman and Macy Atkins step up and really give us some good time. Gracie Hampton, which was an 8th grader at the time, stepped up. And it's just once again the resilience just to keep fighting no matter what we have against us.
Continuing to build year after year is what takes teams to programs.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that you've started to build those blocks from a foundation that you've tried to build over a couple of years?
For sure. I think the foundation started on the first year with the winning season, and then we led into that 20-win season, and now we're striving to get that district championship. Me and my assistant coaches started a youth program. Now we got 51 girls K through 5, which is great for us. The community is getting behind us. You're starting to see more people come out and talk and support our ladies, and I think it's good.
Do you feel, and again, this is nothing against anybody out there, but this is where I think we are. Do you feel like you guys are the front runners for the 62nd this year?
Yeah, for sure. I think so, and that's our mentality going into it. We're going to expect to win the thing. And that's how our way of thinking. Before, it was easy to motivate when you're getting beat all the time. Now people's getting ready for you. They're scheming for you. And it's a different transition for us, but it doesn't change anything. We're going to come hard and we're going to be prepared.
How big would that be to get a district title, get a chance of tasting going to Moorhead as a district champion and going in that champions bracket?
Oh, I think it changes a lot, but just the taste of losing it is probably just as bad, right? Because that's all you think about is that last game. Like, well, let's say to the last game. You want that district championship. You ain't had one in 10, 11 years. None of our kids have had a district championship, so they don't know what it tastes like. So they're hungry. They still want to fight and play.
Let's talk about your team and your makeup. You've got two good ones here with you tonight, Emma and Jenna. What do they bring to the table that they do so much for the team?
Oh, man, they both have huge motors. Jenna, no matter if you're up, down, whatever, she's coming at you. She's going to give you what she's got. And she's one of those leaders that are silent. She don't have to say a whole lot because all you got to do is look over, and she's breathing hard, sweating, just coming at you. And that sets the tone for all of us. And that's what we want. And Emma is coming right off that. She's 6 foot, long, lanky, and with that big motor, she comes at you. So.
You talk about the motor. Jenna, when he talks about something like that, especially on the defensive side, are you more of what you would say a defensive-minded player that you'd like to really get up in people, and then it leads to your offense?
Yeah, I like to get the game moving fast, and that helps the whole team out a lot because everything's moving, and it usually makes the other team not be able to catch up. So,
how much for you being around the program have you noticed from year one with Coach to where you are right now? How much difference has it been?
There's been a drastic change, even from when I was a 7th grader. The whole atmosphere of the games changed for me, and I don't think the young kids understand what it used to be, but now it's a good vibe.
What's it like with, you talk about with the young kids now, it's around Morgan County, it's experience winning, not losing. Yeah. And you see the young kids, do you see those, like Coach was saying, 51 kids that's in the youth program? You see those kids want to come and be a part of it.
Yeah, like we had a blue gold night the other night, and there was just all kinds of girls in the stand cheering for us and letting us know our stats and everything. And you've never seen that in the past, so it's good to see now.
I always get it when I come to Morgan County. It's an atmosphere like no other. I said there were sometimes it feels like I'm in the middle of a Monsters, Inc. movie and they're filling up the Scream canisters. That place gets electric. Your student section's always up. Your fans really come out and support you. How much does that kind of get you guys going?
It definitely helps. It gets us going. And then even like when we go places, we have people follow us. And our parents are great. And the community, like Derek said, they really are coming and supporting. And it helps a lot.
Now, who's got a higher motor, you or him?
I don't know. It'd be a tough run, yeah. It'd be a good run.
Emma, I'll let you answer that question. You're in the who's got the higher motor, Coach or Jenna?
I don't know. They both got a pretty good motor.
What for you? What's been the biggest change in the program that you've seen?
A really big change has just been like who I'm playing with and like how we all play together. Like whenever I was in middle school, it's not the same as it is now. We all seem to get along, and if we have a problem, we work it out, and we all just work together as a team to get places. For you being the post player for the team, 6 foot, that's a nice size in this area. Do you see a lot of touches coming your way this year on the post and those close range baskets? I do. Yeah.
And she's developed her game. She's got a perimeter shot. She's worked on her dribbling. You'll see her bring it up the court some. Well,
for you, Emma, for having that ability to bring the basketball up the floor, you talk about teams that they want to play fast. Knowing you're going to be one of those players that's really called upon to get on the glass, getting the ball into transition, having that ability, how big does that make your team be able to kind of go at a faster pace than other teams want you to?
I think that will help us a lot because I can dribble down the floor, Jenna can. Like most of our team can dribble it down the floor if we need to, and we're always just everybody can run everywhere, so it's not like we really have to slow anything down to change anything. Everybody can run everything. So it's just a big help to our whole team.
Jenna, when you have players like that that's interchangeable at every position, how much can that really dictate the pace that you guys want to play with?
It really helps. We make that a prominent part of our practices. We make sure everybody knows every spot, and we run through it multiple times, and it really helps. It just speeds up the game because you don't have to stop and dribble it and get in place. It helps.
Now, for you guys, do you like the tempo? Do you like to slow things down and really turn it into a defensive battle? Which way do you like to go with?
We like a fast pace. We like the tempo high and going good.
Emma, for you, same way?
Same way.
Yeah, like to get it up and down the floor?
Yeah.
Coach, what do you like about that opportunity? Is it you take away the ability for people to think and you just have to react?
For sure. I think that's where you want to be at the high school level. A lot of people want to run shell drill and sit down and get in position. If I can get into the half court and get a shot up early, that's what I want. Best chance for us to get rebounds, shots. I'm not the guy that's going to hold the ball on you. You ain't got to worry about that. I'm going to come down and get shots up. That's our mentality, and that's how we want to play. No matter if we're up or down, I'm coming.
Well, I'm going to ask you the question I asked Jenna, but the environment when you go to West Liberty and you go inside that gymnasium, it is second to none, and it's something that's a very special thing to be a part of, especially at the high school. For you, seeing that continual presence from the community and the support, how big has that been?
Oh, it's been great, and it's grown, especially on the girls' side. The boys' side always kind of had it. They had a tradition of winning. For the girls, when you walked in the games, it's kind of quiet. Now, man, you get in there and you can get lost in it, and that's great. That's fun, and that's why we do it. Is to get all that atmosphere, that feeling of the excitement and playing. So it's great, and it helps our girls. And games were not going well, they start getting up, and our kids start playing better.
I kind of get it. I said, you're not in your prototypical shirt tonight, but you see, we got to work into it. But for you, again, not your prototypical coaching attire that you may see, but it's something you see the players really feed off what you have from the sideline.
Yeah. So that shirt started out as a joke, and so I tell my kids, it doesn't really matter what you look like; it's what you know. So I want those kids to be comfortable with who they are, and for me, I know sometimes wearing those Hawaiian shirts and looking across at the other coach, they think I'm a goofball and might not know much. But just like I said, that it makes it a little bit fun for high school kids to enjoy, and I enjoy it. So,
girls, for you, when you look over the first time Coach come out in a Hawaiian shirt, what was your thought process?
I don't know. It wasn't unusual because he shows up to practice like that, dressed in whatever. So it was kind of just like, there's Coach D. So.
Emma, for you, what was your thought process when you see Coach walk out in a Hawaiian shirt at a game?
The very first time I seen him, I was shocked. I didn't expect him to come out in a Hawaiian shirt. I expected him to come out in like a Morgan County shirt, but it made everything just better, and that was a really fun game for me and the team.
Coach, knowing you've got something like that, it's kind of been your staple that has gone to you.
Yeah.
Is that something you're proud of?
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of thing. We went to Fairview and played my first year. And I got back home and had a couple of coaches message me and said I was the Jimmy Buffett of the 16th region. So I was like, all right. So I went to Amazon to order me.
Use that.
Yeah. So let's work on it. So I went to Amazon and bought me about 8, 9 of them, and then we started with it, baby. Took off. So
let's talk about your schedule. Again, you feel like you're the front runner in the 62nd, sure. But I think you're to the point. You're ready to make that next step. You want to make some noise in the 16th. What's your schedule do this year that sets you up for that opportunity?
So at the end of last year, I wanted to strategize and get teams that I thought would make us better with zones, pressing teams. So I'd go back and look and watch video from other teams that played that year and see their mentality and how they played things. And I tried to lay that schedule out. We got Jackson County as our third game at Jackson County. They're a 20-win team. They play a zone. They got some bigs. I know Russell liked to run the zone last year, so I want to prepare us for things that we're going to see. And I think that does that.
What's the one thing that you now in, I think this is your third year, correct?
This will be my third year, yeah.
What's the one thing that you're ready to make that next step forward with for Morgan County basketball?
I'll win that district. We got to reach for that thing that we ain't even been able to touch in the last 10 years. So we grab that, and then we'll move forward to the region and see what that brings. But right now it's a district championship.
Well, Coach, I will say this. If nobody has had an opportunity to come to West Liberty and watch a girls basketball game, they need to pay the price of admission, come in and enjoy it. It's an atmosphere, and I certainly look forward to making a couple trips up here this year.
I appreciate it, sir.
Derek Young, Emma Klinger, and Jenna Hampton, 3 players and Coach from Coach, you still have some eligibility left, right?
Yeah.
Coach and 2 players from Morgan County. We greatly appreciate it. Girls, good luck this season. Best of luck this season as you go along.
Thanks for having us.
Let's take a break. When we return, we've got Fairview in the house as we continue our coverage here on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Sports Network.
Smithfield Foods in Grayson is a proud community partner, taking pride in providing a safe and friendly environment for their workers and for the community. Smithfield Foods is always ready to support our growing community any way they can. Smithfield Foods is the world's largest pork processor and hog producer, and they're committed to providing good food in a responsible and environmentally safe way. Proud to be a part of the community. Smithfield Foods in Grayson.
Home is where you hang your hat. And if you're looking for a newer, nicer home to hang your hat in, talk to the Commercial Bank of Grayson. You'll like our selection of fixed and adjustable rate mortgages and competitive rates. We also offer construction loans, auto loans, online and mobile banking, and many other services. Commercial Bank of Grayson, Grayson and Olive Hill, here for you for 125 years and counting. And you can hang your hat on that. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
For those on the go, the smoothie connoisseur, the break room favorite, and for those that just never quite have it all, Clark's has what you need to keep your day on track. Make life easier and keep your busy schedule moving forward with everything you need at Clark's. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
When you have business away from home or a planned event far from your comfort zone, you're probably going to need a little help. Let A&A Porta Potties assist you with all your portable toilet needs. Whether on a construction site, planning for an outdoor wedding, or any other outdoor event, A&A Porta Potties are here to assist you. A&A Porta Potties also rents out storage containers, office containers, cooling fans, tables, and chairs. A&A Porta Potties, there is no event too big or too small for us to accommodate you.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender. In addition to the Greenup location, Stultz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in their Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-through. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stultz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stultz Pharmacy.
And back on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show here on the Kool Sports Network and Kool TV. Again, this will be our next to last segment here in what we're calling the second half of the show. We're going to overtime that will just finish up on Kool TV. So those of you who are with us just on Kool Hits 105.7, jump on YouTube, search for Kool Hits. If you're not following us, that'll take you to our YouTube channel. You can pull up the entirety of this event, finish out the live thing, and you can go back and watch any of the teams that you wish to. If you're not subscribed with us over on Kool TV, jump on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, like this event, and also hit that little bell. That will alert you anytime we put up new content, and that is very frequently throughout the week. So we appreciate everyone that's jumped on with us here at Kool TV, and looking forward to taking it to the next level as we continue our journey as we get ready to start into basketball season. Well, we got a full house in with us now as we go back into the boys' side of things. Joining us now in the studio is Fairview basketball. Coach Thompson, thanks for joining us. My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Let's talk about first year for you with the team. Obviously, you look at what they had last year, 11-19. Jackson Manning, one of the top scorers in the 16th region. The elements that you have there, what was the thing that you looked at and said, this is the first thing I've got to be able to do to be able to set your kind of your mentality, your identity for this program?
Give the players freedom, more freedom than what they've had and more opportunities. You got to realize 11 and 19, average 51, 52 points a game, somewhere around that. Less 24 points doesn't leave a lot of points between 6 other players playing. So I realized right off the bat after watching some of them, they do have, they're very creative, they have the ability. So we have a lot of freedom, they have a lot of freedom. And my philosophy is the following: you score more points than the other team, you win.
Having Bubba down here, he was your second leading scorer from last year. Having him back from last year's team, what do you look at for him of being able to kind of assert himself in another level of a scoring opposition?
Well, you know, I teach one thing. There's no set position. 1 through 5, every player knows that 1 through 5 position. So therefore, to get at the next level, I'm here to create opportunities for these young kids, to let them know that there's another place you can go besides Ashland, Kentucky or Westwood, Kentucky. You can move on, you can get to college, and then you're into the game of life. And this is what us coaches are supposed to do as coaches, to teach them an aspect of life. And you know, Bubba was more or less a post player. He didn't want to shoot much, and now you know, I expect him to be an all-around player, 1 through 5. Same as Tanner Johnson, same as Tamil Smith. I mean, there might be games where Tamil Smith's posting. That's the way it is.
Tamil, you down for that?
Yeah.
When you have a positionless team on the floor, the trust level that you have with those players says a lot, because at any given time, like you said, you could have your 5 bringing the ball up the floor.
That is correct. You know, throughout my career, I've played a lot of places, and obviously in the Pro-Am and the professional leagues, it was more like that, and it makes it more fun for the players too. However, you know, your basketball IQ has to kick in and realize, oh gee, no, it's probably not a good shot. I better set something up. We're up 10 with 2 minutes to go. You know, and it's a matter of learning. These kids have to learn all that. They've not learned that, and to be honest with you, I'm very, their fundamentals, basic fundamentals are not the best, and we're working on all that almost from scratch. We've been working very hard from the beginning when I first got here.
Well, that was my question. I was going to say, are you throwing down building blocks, or are you putting down a foundation?
We're doing a foundation, and then we're building from there.
What's something that you like from what you saw from the team from last year?
I like the intensity of the team. In the beginning, if I had to guess, probably the first week of organized practices, you really didn't see that ability. Oh, I don't have that ability, that confidence. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I do have that ability. I can go. What, you're not taking me out for shooting the ball? No. I'll take you out for not shooting the ball. Put the ball up and let's have fun.
Getting shots up. Sometimes you hear coaches that they want to get more shots up than the other team. It's more opportunities of scoring the basketball. Is that kind of your philosophy?
Yes. Get it and go. Get it and go. That's why it's important 1 through 5 to be able to dribble the ball. You get trapped, your basketball IQ better kick in, you hit the right person, attack the basket.
Defensively, how much of a challenge has that been too, of getting into that mantra of you've got to stop things defensively, but you have to know how to go offensively very quickly?
Well, you know, I guess their previous play has allowed them like to be 2 to 3 feet off the offensive player. That doesn't work in my book. You got to get up on them and challenge every time. And you know, we're a very young team, but we do have somewhat of a bench. You get in foul trouble, it's okay. Just give the effort. I don't want somebody just coming around you and just shooting a layup. If they shoot a layup, they better earn that layup, and I'll leave it at that.
Let's talk about 3 players that you got with you here: Tanner Johnson, Tamil Smith, and Bubba Johnson. What do they, or Bubba Day, I'm sorry. What do they bring to the table, each one of them, that is special to this year's team?
Well, to me, I think all 3 of them are leaders, and that's very important. And as I'm trying to teach all of our players, when you have the ball at that particular time, you're a leader. Now, it's the same situation in life. You know, you go through life, whether you're a boss of a company or whatever you're doing, you always have a boss, someone above you. So therefore, you got to produce. So when the ball's in your hands, you're the leader. Only 8% of people are leaders, 92 other are followers. So it's very important that whomever of those 5 players that have that ball, that they're a leader, and they recognize through their basketball IQ, oh, no, we're going to go to this set versus that set. No, he's wide open, let's do it. It's a mismatch. That's what we're getting to. It's going to take time. You know, I believe it's going to take 10, 12 games for us to get into it, and then we're going to have that magical moment. And then all of a sudden everybody's going to click and see it. And then we're at the top of the hill and we're on our way down. That's really what I believe is going to happen.
Tanner, what's the biggest things you've noticed between last year and this year already, and just in the preseason?
Just him giving us the freedom to play as we need. Moving the ball up and down the floor is a big key for us this year. He's letting us shoot. He's letting us have the freedom. Like he said, he's going to take us out for not shooting the ball. That's really the big factor for us.
For you, what this year, the way that you see the way Coach Thompson has things set up, what are you considering a good shot?
Transition. Transition is one. We like to get the ball up and down the floor, score more points than the other team. That's what we like to do.
Mel, for you, I know you're a guy that you can step out, but you can also get the ball off the bounce and go to in the basket. How much has Coach really challenged you on both sides of that to get to the rim more, but also be assertive with that three-point shot?
A lot. He's assistant coach Adams has been working on my jump stop, stopping, kicking the ball out to the open guy.
Having the ability to get to the rim and being able, like you said, execute that jump shot and reverse it back. A lot of times that reversal leads to a wide open shot and you get those good looks. Is that something you want to bring to your game this year?
Yes.
Bubba, for you, being that guy, you're the dude this year. You're the highest returning scorer on the team. How much does that put the pressure on you of stepping to that next level?
Well, I just have to trust my teammates, because if we're all working together, it helps me out extremely.
Going to the glass this year for you, how much more have you put on yourself of taking your game to be able to where you can be that assertive player on the glass?
Well, Isaac Johnson has challenged me a lot this year in practice and helps me a lot out in games to rebound the ball and kick it out and get in transition. So it's a big part of our relationship with me and him to challenge each other for that.
Tanner's coach really challenged you guys this year to get after it on the glass?
Oh yeah, his intensity it's up there for sure. All practice, during the scrimmages, everything. His intensity is there.
Tamel, being, like Coach was saying, not being 2-3 feet off of players, really up in the grill, how much difference has that been defensively for you guys of making that adjustment of really bringing that level defensively that he wants to see?
A lot. We what's the word I'm looking for? Well, in practice we do a lot of defensive slides and getting up and down the court. It's basically what we've been focused on recently.
Coach, when you challenge those guys with that defensive pressure that you want to see, you see them not succeed, and then it happens, and that light bulb comes on. How special of a moment is that?
Yeah, it's very special. I'll give you an example. Today alone, we had to break some stuff down and basically go from A, B, C to D. And Coach Adams and I worked hard at that today and breaking it down. So you go from a 2-on-2 situation to a 3-on-3 to 4-on-4 to where you're hand checking, you're calling screens out. I believe their fundamentals aren't where they need to be at this point, but we will get them there. It's what we're here for. It's why we had preseason. That's why we're getting ready. We got 1 week from tomorrow when we match up with Greenup County, and looking very forward to it, and we'll take it from there.
Communication, how big has that been?
Very, very big. When it was in the beginning, these guys were, I don't want to say accustomed to losing, but accustomed to, I played okay, it's okay. It's not okay. I win, and that's the way it is, and that's what we're going to do.
Let's talk about your schedule that you have. Obviously playing the 64th district, and you look up, you've got Boyd County and Ashland sitting right there. What's the goal of looking at a chance to try to knock one of those guys off and get Fairview back up there?
Down the season, right off the bat, as I said, the first 8, 10, 12 games is going to be a learning curve for us. But from that point on, come tournament time, I hope that we're extremely competitive, and we're going to be that team that, we got to play Fairview tonight. They're coming after us, and that's what we want to do in preparation to these guys learning. As I said, we're a young team, only with one senior, and looking forward to the future a little bit with the experience.
Again, not doing overly amazing with what you're talking about in the first year out, but having some success that you can continue to build around the program. How big is that for this year?
Oh, it's very big. And the other key is, to come out, I'm a graduate of Fairview, to come out Westwood and succeed. It's very important for these guys because they respect that. They want to get there. They want to go to that next level and then that next level and keep, succeeding. And it's called the game of life. And we're going to get there. As long as they stick with me and our feeder system continues, it's a whole new system, step by step by step. And that's what we're doing. Coach Adams and I, we're working extremely hard to get that in our system.
Coach, we greatly appreciate the time tonight. Best of luck this season to you and the guys with you, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. Tanner, Tamel, Bubba, good luck this season.
Thanks for
and
having
Coach
us.
Thompson, he's the new head man over at Fairview. We'll take a break. When we continue, we've got Jeremy Webb from West Carter in. We'll continue with the comments. That's as we roll on here on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Sports Network.
When you shop and invest locally, you put in motion a sequence of actions which multiplies the money that is available in our area to create jobs and provide emergency services, police, and fire protection, as well as improving the quality of education in our local schools. Shop and invest locally whenever you can. First in People's Bank and Trust Company, member FDIC. We are the home office.
You've thought for a long time about keeping your firearms and valuables safe and out of harm's way. Borders Sporting Goods has the area's greatest selection of Liberty safes and a wide range of sizes, styles, and colors. And Borders also has the Tri-State's best and most complete selection of firearms, hunting supplies, fishing supplies, archery supplies, knives, camo, and boots. From the smallest fishing hook to the largest Liberty safe, the best brands, the best selection, and the best prices in the Tri-State are at Borders Sporting Goods, Route 60 West in Ashland, where your money will be well spent.
What do you look for in a pharmacy? Healthy Way Pharmacy always takes care of any prescription needs, but also has a wide variety of home medical equipment complete with delivery service. At Healthy Way, the wait is always shorter and the prices are usually less. Call 928-1001 for any questions. They're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and Saturday from 9 to 1. Healthy Way Pharmacy and Home Medical Supply, US 60 Cannonsburg, next to the KDMC Outreach Center and in Sandy Hook.
Johnny's Pizza, 117 West Main Street in Grayson, is a small, non-chain restaurant with more than just pizza with great dough and sauces. Johnny's also has wings, subs, pastas, salads, baked potatoes, fries, onion rings, buffalo chips, pickle chips, calzones, iced coffee, milkshakes, and more. And Johnny's dressings are homemade. The friendly staff, great service, and a menu unlike any other pizza place. You'll see why Johnny's is the best. Johnny's Pizza, 117 West Main Street in Grayson. Check them out on Facebook.
We may call this the fourth quarter or the end of the second half, but either way, we're coming to the conclusion here on Kool 105.7 FM. Stay with us over on Kool TV as we go into overtime, and that will be all the segments from the teams that we had a chance to visit throughout the day that were not able to make it with us live tonight in studio. Ben Spicer and I, we got around the 16th region. We started this morning over at Russell with Mandy Lane. Bella Quinn and Shaylin Steele had a great opportunity to talk with them. We ventured over to Cannonsburg, Randy Anderson and his group, Pete Fraley and his girls, some great stuff there. Really appreciate both of those taking time out this morning. We jumped on 64 off to Rowan County, and Matt Stokes and Sean Thacker. Some great stuff coming from the Vikings there, including with Haven Ford, one of the top players there in the 16th region. Over from there, we stop at Greenup County and talk with Paul Miller, Rachel Bush, and Emily Maynard. Finished up with Marty Thomas and Raceland, and now we're back here live. And our final guest in the actual game mode, as we call it, Coach Jeremy Webb from West Carter. Hey, man, thanks for joining us. Hard to believe it. Here we are again for another season. But for you, what do you look at your team that you take away from last year? I know you and I, we've talked several times. You're going to be young this year. But at the same time, you've got a lot of opportunities there to build off of.
Absolutely. We've graduated so many seniors the last 3 years. I think we've gone 7, 5, and 5. And all of those seniors were very productive players, very good players, and we had a pretty good little run of success there with those guys. But total turnover, really, and I only brought one guy back with really any starting experience, and that's Brett Daly. And I have 2 other guys that had a little bit of varsity experience, not a whole lot of minutes. So it's just kind of where we are right now. We're a little bit of a turnover youth-wise, and I have a very good, what I feel like is a very good freshman and sophomore class to go along with those couple juniors and seniors that we have that have experience. But, you know, we're excited where the future is headed. You know, but with that said, it's a young group, it's an inexperienced group, and you know, when you're at a school like the size that West Carter has, that we have, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have groups or classes that come together, and you're going to have 7 or 8 kids that's going to hang together and play all the way through, and then you're going to occasionally have that group that, well, they go off and do different things and decide basketball maybe isn't their sport. And so you're going to ride the wave sometimes, and right now we're turning over, and hopefully that wave will be coming back, right, in a positive way for us with wins, but it may be a year or so before we really start seeing that.
You look at your time with the team, like you said, I believe the numbers you gave me, 19 seniors through 3 seasons that you've rolled through there. You don't do what's considered a total overhaul because you've built such a solid foundation there in Olive Hill. But you certainly have to start finding some new building blocks for these young kids.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And there's really, you can practice all you want, you can play summer games or AAU games all you want, but there's no replacing those in-game district or those in-season district games or those big games against your rivals, or there's no replacing the time on the court. And it's our guys need it, and it's going to be growing this year.
What's the one thing that you take away from last year, from the way you guys finished up, that you try to build on, even though it's a whole different personnel package, but it's something those guys were around with the way that you finished?
Well, maybe we didn't go as deep last year. When you look at this year, maybe I should have gone down and played a freshman or an 8th grader or 2 to try to develop and get some experience. My son, I played him 1 game really last year with any kind of significant minutes, and he made 3 threes in that game. And at the end of the season, because he's my son and this is my first experience with coaching my own, there's that delicate balance there, right, of putting too much pressure on him because his coach's son, so maybe I should have played him a little more to get him more valuable experience last season. But when I look back, those are some types of things that, I really wish I maybe would have done differently.
For you, having Tyson there, a relative, but not your blood from
right.
How much do you take the time and experience you have with Tyson that you can put with your son?
Very much so. He was so close. Turl and I were so close, and I coached Tyson's brother, Taylor, so I've had some kids along the way that you view that very similarly, but I guess it's always a little different when it's your own out there. And I was having a conversation with my wife, and before our scrimmage, I was getting ready to go to the gymnasium. It's like, I've done this for quite a while, but now this is going to be your first time, with stepping on the court with our boy out there. So it's different.
For you, again, and I've been there as a dad and as a coach.
Yeah.
How hard is it wearing those 2 different hats, dad and coach?
Well, you have to treat them no differently. And let me say this: I've talked to other coaches around the region on how they coach their own. Sean Thacker, Sean and I talk quite a bit, and I've discussed with him on how he coached his, and Randy Anderson. How did he coach, and go through coaching his? And one of the things that they both really had in common was once you get in the truck to go home, to go to the house, basketball coaching, it's done and over. It's dad mode, again at that time, and don't even discuss until you come back to the court, So I think that's, where I've really tried to make that adjustment, right? Let's talk about it or work on it tomorrow at practice.
Preseason, how much have you kind of tried to, I don't want to say this in a bad way, but dumb things down to really get your guys where you want them to be for the understanding, the basketball IQ they need to have to be successful at the varsity level?
Well, I'll say this, from early on in my coaching career, the game was more structured, and there was more offensive sets, there was more motion game, and on so many of the coaches where, I get what you would say was just very structured, right? You had a lot of plays, kids, and, we would try to prepare for Rowan County, and he would have, Coach Thacker would have 45 plays, and he would pull out a sheet of paper, and here they all were. And, he's still like that to some degree. But there's more playing now and less execution of plays, and that's where I have to adjust as well, with these kids, because just like Coach Thompson here before me, right? Give those kids the freedom to be able to go make plays. So that's where I've had to adjust. But the flip side of that is the preseason, before we start playing games, we have to spend a lot of time coaching just playing, right? There's spacing, and you're just going 4 out or 5 out, just understanding how to play on the offensive end and where to move and when to move there, because a lot of times a cut can clog a dribble penetration lane where somebody was on his way to. So things like that, very basic things offensively, just playing.
Do you find that it's more difficult in today's game to go to the marker board and get kids to understand what you're trying to execute?
Absolutely, but there's so much less of it. I mean, Coach Izzo does a great job, and all of us, you know, that are sports people watched the Michigan State UK game, right? And they saw how Michigan State really executed at the end of the game, right? Well, they have a lot of offensive freedom throughout the game, but then at the end of the game, they really done a very good job of executing other plays. And I think that's where, Coach, that's where we all want to get to, right? To be able to know that, you know, when I call a set or when I draw a set up, you have to be experienced enough. You know, you have to be calm enough. You can't go out there all tense, you know, be able to go out and execute it.
When you see it, like you said, a kid that gets really tense, they go out and they mess up.
Oh, yeah.
When you've got a youthful group, how much does it take for them to be able to gather themselves back and then try to find themselves to get in the right position so the play doesn't break down completely?
It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And the kids know it too. They know when they put so much pressure on themselves as well. But, you know, it's a big patience thing on my behalf, you know, on our coaching staff's behalf is, you know, to be able to, hey, understand we have a young group. We have to do a lot of teaching. Right, that's where we were in practice today because we scrimmaged on Saturday, so we had so much to teach on today, but then we can't get frustrated, you know, on the flip side.
How much do you lay on Brett Daly of being that guy that you have to turn to as a leader on the floor?
He has to be. He played point guard. We threw him as a point guard so that way we can let Jackson last year go play, you know, what I think was his more comfortable or natural position of being a shooting guard. And he done a very good job last year to be able to go into that group of seniors and to play his role, to take care of the basketball, to put us in offense. And he's not a guy that's going to turn it over a lot. And when you have a point guard that can put you in offense or get guys spaced or know when it's time to put it on the hip, you know, and get guys where they need to be so you could execute a play, it's just huge. And you know, we're going to lean on Brett very heavily. He had a very good scrimmage the other day, even though it was – we had, I think Scott Tackett probably made an announcement on that. We had like 60 fouls called and 70-some free throws. I mean, it was very, very, there was no flow, right? There was no flow. So, but we still saw enough on film. We had things to work on, but the one constant that I felt like throughout the entire game was Brett Daly. You know, he was solid. He very much was in control the entire way.
You look at someone like Brett and the experience that he had from last year of getting to play that point guard role, having those youthful guys around him this year, is he like an extension of the coaching staff? Because when things do go south, he can back things out and slow it down.
Yes, he's not the vocal guy. You know, our senior on our basketball, one of our seniors on our basketball team is Caleb Rayburn. He's a vocal guy. You know, Brett is not that vocal guy. You know, Brett is that guy that will just go and get the basketball and, like you said, and put it on his hip and just kind of relaxes, kind of calms everybody down. So we will rely on him heavily for that.
What do you look at your team offensively that you want to try to do? Is this a team that you feel confident can get to that high tempo that you like to run, or is this more of a team that it's going to be in the 50s each night because that's where you feel like you're most competitive?
That's probably where we'll end up being at this season. You know, offensively, we try to be opportunistic. Depending upon how, you know, or how the game's being played, you know, turnovers, obviously run those. We like to run a lot of missed threes. You know, teams that shoot a lot of quick threes, those are long rebounds. And in a lot of instances, we view that as a turnover. You know, if you can pressure a team and get them to take that quick long three and that ball kicks out to about the free throw line or the top of the key for a rebound and one of our guards get it, that's transition opportunity. That should be a high percentage shot for us coming back to the other end. So, you know, I wouldn't really say that our philosophy is to slow it down, but we like to control the tempo.
Let's talk about your schedule. First off, the 62nd District. We've talked so many times with every year. It's the gauntlet.
Yeah.
And I think this year is no different. What do you look at the 62nd that makes it what it is every year?
Well, there's been a lot of change in the 62nd.
There has been a lot of change.
I mean, so we had several kids from Elliott go to Morgan, and it's kind of changed the whole complexion of both teams there. And, you know, there's some unknown, you know, in regards to that. So it's the bottom line, it's going to be very competitive from top to bottom. And watched East Carter play in our scrimmage out there on Saturday in the Jack Fultz Classic. East Carter was very strong, very physical. They could get it to the rim and finish really well because of that. Very good defensively. So, you know, year in and year out, we always like to say, you know, it's one of the toughest.
The 16th region this year, do you feel like, you know, it's been kind of so many teams, a few here and everybody else. Do you feel like the field's maybe caught up a little bit this year?
Well, of course, you still have to put Ashland and Boyd and Round. I think all those teams are all still going to be very good this year. Who knows how the Ashland thing's going to play out? But, so there's some unknowns, right? There's some unknowns there. Bath County, there's an unknown right there on how that's all going to play out, because I've heard some players are eligible and some are ineligible. So you really don't have the answer this year. That's a big part of it.
What do you like about the way that you have your schedule structured that challenges your kids the way that they need to be challenged from the first half of the season to the second half of the season?
Well, a youthful team, a young team like we have, we can't go play Johnson Central. We've played them a couple years ago when we had a very good group, and so you have to have a balance, right, of trying to get some winnable home games and some winnable road games, and for a young team, to get enough wins along the way that you can still stay positive, right? Still make it a good learning experience and keep everybody moving in the right direction.
Coach, we're looking forward to covering you guys this year in conjunction with Manus Sports Network and Jeff, and here with us with Kool TV. But it's been a great venture through football, and we look forward to bringing on the basketball floor as well.
Yeah. Appreciate it, James.
Thanks so much. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Yes, sir.
Jeremy Webb from West Carter. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up here in the Kool Hits 105.7 FM side. Overtime over on Kool TV. We'll preview that when we return after this. This is the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Hits Sports Network.
Smithfield Foods in Grayson is a proud community partner, taking pride in providing a safe and friendly environment for their workers and for the community. Smithfield Foods is always ready to support our growing community any way they can. Smithfield Foods is the world's largest pork processor and hog producer, and they're committed to providing good food in a responsible and environmentally safe way. Proud to be a part of the community. Smithfield Foods in Grayson.
Home is where you hang your hat. And if you're looking for a newer, nicer home to hang your hat in, talk to the Commercial Bank of Grayson. You'll like our selection of fixed and adjustable rate mortgages and competitive rates. We also offer construction loans, auto loans, online and mobile banking, and many other services. Commercial Bank of Grayson, Grayson and Olive Hill, here for you for 125 years and counting. And you can hang your hat on that. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
For those on the go, the smoothie connoisseur, the break room favorite, and for those that just never quite have it all, Clark's has what you need to keep your day on track. Make life easier and keep your busy schedule moving forward with everything you need at Clark's. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back here on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Hits Sports Network and over on Kool TV. We have reached the point of the broadcast where we're going to call things an end. We've reached regulation time on Kool Hits 105.7. That does not mean things are finished on Kool TV. We're going to overtime. And overtime segment that we've got coming up is all of the teams that were unable to make it in tonight that we'd reached out to and that they wanted to join us for a part of the program. We had a lot of teams that had scrimmages scheduled for tonight. Originally, we'd planned on doing this tomorrow night. The Ashland Christmas Parade kind of put that in limbo, so the logistics of trying to get teams in and out of here with the parade simply wasn't going to happen. Plus, we're going to have coverage of the Ashland Christmas Parade tomorrow night on Kool TV. So we moved everything over to today, and we're greatly appreciative of the teams that were able to make it in. We did not get Lewis County boys in. Scott Tack had contacted me earlier this evening. His wife not feeling well. They've got some other players that's going through some illness. So, Scott, we certainly wish you and your wife and your players a fast recovery and certainly getting well. We've got a lot of sickness running around throughout there. Also, Reese Griffith from Morgan County, same situation. Had some players that had kind of come ill and the flu bug going around, didn't want to take a chance, so we certainly sent our best wishes out to Morgan County. But we'll try to get these teams in and our coverage throughout that. But before we jump into overtime over on Kool TV, I want to bring in my partner in crime today, Ben Spicer. He was with me all day long today. And Ben, we started early this morning. Ben, come on over. We got to move you over here a little bit. There we go.
Hey,
there we go. We started early this morning,
Yeah.
and it was a very fun-filled day. And you and I, we talked so many times. I wish the logistics were there to where we could go to every single school and do what we did today. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a blast. We got to see some of the region's best programs and players, of course, and speak with them. But like you said, we definitely want to be sure to try and touch all the bases that we can, and maybe that's something that we can work out next season. But it was just great to be able to see everyone. And for me personally, great to be back in the area. Big basketball guy. Basketball is my one true love. And obviously down in Texas, that kind of
more of a football
kind of
thing.
plays second flute to football. So I got back just in time to see the postseason runs from our area schools in football, and then transition over to basketball. So I'm looking forward to it.
I know we talked to several coaches, and there were some of the coaches, they were kind of upset that they couldn't make the trip over because where they live, they like to come to Ashland. It gives them a chance to get out, do some shopping, do some food, some eating and stuff, some of the dining stuff. So, but it was, Rowan County had their green and white tonight. Boyd County had a big event going on this evening as well. So, Coach A and Coach Fraley this morning, we had a great time with them. Coach Stokes, Coach Thacker over at Rowan County, great time with those guys. And getting a chance to see their facilities. We were in gymnasiums. We were in locker rooms. It was just a lot of fun today.
Yeah, we had to get some visitors passes in some of the schools that aren't on Thanksgiving break yet. So big thanks to those schools for having us for sure. But it was just great to be back in the gym again and be out of the cold, I would say.
You don't like the cold?
I'm not used to this cold yet.
You came back from Texas
and
the cold came with you.
Well, yeah, that's true. But, basketball season is great because we're inside. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we still got some football still to go yet. Well, that's going to do it for us here on Kool 105.7. Now, if you're with us on Kool TV, don't go anywhere. We still have lots of material coming up. We're going to start with Mandy Lane at Russell. We started with her, Shaylin Newman, Shaylin Newman, that's my silent reporter. It's been a long day. Shaylin Steele and Bella Quinn from Russell. Then we headed over to Boyd County. We've got Randy Anderson and Pete Fraley, a couple players from each side there. On the road, off to Rowan County, Sean Thacker and Matt Stokes. And, of course, we've got Haven Ford in there. And some great stuff from Coach Stokes. They're looking to make another run into the 16th region, see where they fall at. We stopped at Greenup County all the way back in, Paul Miller with Rachel Bush and Emily Maynard, and then rounded out over at Raceland with Marty Thomas, first-year head coach for the Rams there with Nim Maynard and Emma Broughton. Some fun stuff there that you certainly want to take care of. And then yesterday, I made the trip up to Sandy Hook and got together with Greg Atkins and a couple of his guys up there for Elliott County on the boys' side of things. So a lot of material still to come. Again, if you're with us on Kool 105.7 on the FM, jump over onto Kool TV. Ben, I'll let you kind of plug this. This is something you've really taken on, and the numbers that we've seen on our YouTube channel has certainly grown.
Yeah, this is the perfect time for me to say if you are not subscribed to the Kool TV YouTube channel, it's so easy. You can just hit the subscribe button below you right now. Make sure to like the video too, because that helps us connect with more Eastern Kentucky high school sports fans. But you want to make sure that you're subscribed to the Kool TV YouTube because we've got some big things in store for basketball season and moving forward. And of course, we still have Raceland football coming up on Friday. Last weekend we were down at Bell County for Ashland's big win on the road. We have full game highlights, reaction from that. So many exciting things. I even went and covered some cheerleading. So we're kind of all over the place on the Kool TV YouTube channel. But the end goal, of course, is to promote our area schools and these young athletes. And we're excited to be able to have the opportunity to do that.
Absolutely. Certainly look forward to that. Again, speaking of that Raceland football game, we've got a big pregame tailgate show coming up that will get underway at 6 p.m.
Nice.
So we'll have a lot of special material that will lead into the kickoff. Louisville Holy Cross coming in. First time ever these two teams have met. This one's for all the marbles. This one takes you for a magic carpet ride down to Kroger Field, and that's where the Rams have had their sights set on from the word go. We're happy to have you with us Friday night on the Kool Sports Network and Kool TV. Ben, great job today. It was a lot of fun, man. Look forward to future endeavors, whatever it is we may do.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a blast. Again, big thanks to all the coaches for having us out there. And we'll be bugging you real soon once the ball tips off.
Without a doubt. Hey, I hat tip to our executive producer tonight, MJ McKay. A fabulous job, as always. Don't forget, tomorrow night, it's the Ashland Christmas Parade in downtown Ashland. If you can't make it out to the event, you can watch it live right here on Kool TV, 7 p.m.
Subscribe
when it
right
gets
now.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Ben's going to he'll fight me if we don't do that. All right, that will wrap us up on Kool 105.7 FM.
Over on Kool TV, stay tuned. Overtime is next here on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Hits Sports Network.
Thank you for watching the 16th Region Boys and Girls Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Hits Sports Network and Kool TV. Tonight's broadcast has been brought to you in part by Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State, River Cities Builders, A&A Porta Potties, Skulls Pharmacy, Kentucky Farmers Bank, First and People's Bank, Order Sporting Goods, Healthy Way Pharmacy, Johnny's Pizza, Smithfield Foods, and the Commercial Bank of Grayson. This has been an exclusive sports presentation by the Kool Hits Sports Network and Kool TV.
Back
When you have business away from home or a
preview show on location at Russell High School with Bella Quinn, Mandy Lane, and Shaylin Still. Ladies, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Coach, 26-6 last year. Obviously not where you wanted the season to finish up, but take me back through last year. What was some things that you really liked about your year and some things that you feel like that you can build off of coming this year?
Well, I mean, I thought we beat some really good quality teams, and once again, our defense was a staple. All year, it wasn't a secret. We really struggled to score at times offensively. So in the offseason, I feel like we've really worked individually and as a group to improve our offense and, like I say, improve individually. And we really hope this year that it's all going to come together, and our defense as always will be a mainstay.
One thing that you guys did real well, you got depth from the bench, and especially the year prior to that, that was something that you talked about, having those players that you needed to put in there that kind of allowed you to go deeper onto your bench.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have kids that will start at many different places that are coming off of the bench, you know. So we are very fortunate. We have a lot of really good young kids in our program that have been very, very successful, and hopefully this year they'll continue to get even more minutes.
Well, we talk about the youth. I remember when this one to my right here was youth, and now here she is a junior. But you watched the progression that Shaylin's had. What's the one thing that you've noticed year after year that she's been able to continue to become the basketball player that you knew that she was going to be?
Well, leading by example, I think she's done a really, really good job this year by leading by example and encouraging her teammates. Her shot has really evolved. Now she can shoot threes off the bounce. Her mid-range jumper is really, really nice. So she puts a lot of work into it, and I just think that you're going to see a big evolving of her offensive game again this year.
One thing with Bella, she's always been really defensively sound, and that's something that's been able to kind of keep her out there and be able to. But offensively, you've seen her kind of take that next step forward.
Yeah, and we've seen it this year. I mean, she's really worked on her driving, and she's really worked on her mid-range game, and we worked a lot off of ball screens. Been really impressed during practice and our scrimmage of being able to come off a ball screen and shoot and drive. So I think you're going to see a big improvement from Bella also this year.
Only one senior you're losing from last year with Campbell. What do you like about the returners that you have and the addition of those young players that have to make that next step forward in their role of not only becoming just a 7th, 8th person off the bench, but now being that 6th, 7th person off the bench?
Yeah, I mean, first we have Josie Atkins, and she, does so many little things for us that you don't see on the stat sheet. She had a really great scrimmage on Saturday. I was really, really proud of her. She does a really good job of setting the tone in practice. I also think Hannah Sanders has made a jump. Her intensity level has really, really increased, and I see her having a breakout year. And right now our 5th starter is Kennedy Darnell, who I consider one of the best freshmen in the region, if not the best, besides Gabby Oborn. I'm very blessed to have Gabby too, and she shoots it really well, and defensively she does a really nice job. And we also have Courtney Fitzpatrick, who I think will have a good year for us. And we have a couple of young kids, Mia Atkins, who I think will give us some playing time. And unfortunately, though, we do have Jenna Atkins, who is out for the year with an ankle injury.
Talking about Kennedy and Gabby, having those players be able to play through the 7th and 8th grade seasons and get some varsity moments on the floor, how much does that help them now as they get onto the floor in that freshman year and getting a chance to really add to the production that you need for them to come off the bench, or like you said, in that starting role?
Well, I mean, too, they get a lot of great competition in practice. You know, when you go against Shay and Bella every day in practice, I mean, there's not really much more that you can do. So I really think that they've helped elevate their games. And also, too, like you say, they've kind of got their feet wet. And hopefully this year, you know, they're going to be ready to play against the elite teams. And hopefully both of them will have a great year.
You look at what teams like to do against Shaylin. A lot of teams, they're going to give up the double team to try to take her away. How much have you watched her patience level grow of not trying to force the issue, let others around her go get theirs, and then when they sag off, then that's when she can attack?
Yeah, I mean, I thought she did a really, really good job Saturday, and in practice, we're building trust amongst, you know, the teammates, and we're passing the ball really well. I was happy we had 12 assists on Saturday against Owensboro Cath, and I really think as, you know, our kids are able to hit open shots that, you know, it'll be even harder and harder to guard Shay, especially one-on-one.
Shay, for you, what's the one thing that you can take back? You think way back in your 7th grade year, and now here you are as a junior. What's the thing that you feel like that you've grown so much with on the floor?
Definitely my shooting or my leadership. 7th grade was kind of weird being a leader for seniors and trying to tell them what to do and stuff, even as a point guard. So that's definitely gotten a lot better as I've gotten older, just like being able to lead on the floor. And then my shooting, obviously 7th, 8th grade year, they could just take my drive away because I wasn't really a shooter. So that's definitely grown and helped my game a lot.
How much have you noticed that the game has slowed down for you as you've progressed year after year to where now everything doesn't seem like it's like helter-skelter? You can see when you can attack, when you have to pull it back.
Yeah, I think just like having all the years of experience that I have on varsity has helped a lot. It's helped me be able to slow down, be able to like calm my teammates down, slow them down. It's just helped a lot having those years under my belt.
Bella, being around Shay, when you see those double teams come and you're that option that she can go to, when you see that double team, is it one of those things, okay, you know, here's points that we just got to go get them?
Yeah, I mean, I know I need to help her out, and it's always going to go back to her. Even like every time they trap her, then the ball just comes to me, and it normally gets like open shots and just helps move the ball.
Playing in a system to where defense is your offense, and you guys make so many turnovers there in the backcourt, how fun is that of being a part of it, especially whenever that bucket jumps through and you guys can jump up in that trap that you want to go to, and the points just start coming very quickly?
Yeah, our defense helps us get a lot of easy buckets on offense, and I feel like we really just pressure the ball, and we have a lot of people that give a lot of effort, so it's good.
Shaylin, for you, being in that defensive pressure with that, you know, you get that bucket to go through, and that's when you guys can jump in that trap. And that's what Coach Lane's been known for since the time she's been here. It's, you know, you guys are trapping when you get off the bus, but knowing there's offense setting there, but you have to come from it from the defensive side. How difficult is that to understand? And now seeing it how it works for you, teaching those younger players that this is what we have to do to be successful.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot to adjust to, but like I said, just like with the experience, it's gotten easier. I think jumping in a trap right after really gets our intensity going and speeds up the game for us, and that's the kind of game we want to play, is a fast game.
How frustrating of a year was it last year, ending where you guys did there in the semifinals of the region, and how much motivation has that put you guys in this year of pushing forward to get to where you want to get to?
It was pretty frustrating, especially knowing that we could have beat those teams, and we beat them prior. But I think it was kind of like an eye-opener. We won the past few years, and it just showed us that we're not unbeatable, and we still do need to work every day in order to win. So I think that just gives us motivation, and it makes us work harder every day.
Coach, looking at your schedule this year, again, you're not hiding from any form of competition.
No.
I always kid you, I said, did you make your AD a little upset? And you said, no, this one's all on me. But
yeah.
you like to push your team's abilities to see what you can and cannot do. And again, it gets you tournament tested early.
Yeah, I mean, we want to be one of the elite teams in the state. The only way that you're able to do that is playing the best teams in the state. And, you know, it's always good to see what our weaknesses are and how we need to, you know, make them into strengths. So the best way to get exposed is to play really great competition. So we played Owensboro Cath on Saturday, who was really good, was able to win that game. And we played Pikeville tonight, who ended up beating Sacred Heart on Saturday. So we have quite the challenge, and we're also going, as you know, to the Queen of the Commonwealth. We have Ryle Cooper. We're playing Franklin County. We're also going down to Louisville for a game. So obviously we played Boyd and Ashland twice, so as many competitive games that we can get, we like the challenge, and we feel like it's going to get us ready for the postseason.
Bella, when you look at your challenging schedule like that, for you as a player, do you like those challenges, even though sometimes you may come up on the losing end, but the skill level and the ability that you can see of playing against teams that you know these are the teams that's going to be challenging to go for a state title?
Yeah, because it just shows where we are as a team, and it makes us get better, even if we win or lose. And it's obviously better than playing a bad team and just going right through it. But yeah, I think it definitely helps us play better and just get us ready for bigger games like region.
Shaylin, for you, how much do you notice that your intensity level increases with the variety of teams that you guys get to play, especially those bigger teams like what Coach was talking about, of playing in the Queen of the Bluegrass and going down to Louisville and playing those teams that you're going to see should you make that trip into Lexington in the Sweet 16?
Yeah, I think I definitely like my better games are against better teams, so that's definitely good, playing better competition. And like Coach said, we want to be one of the best teams, and we hope to make it to state. So in order to make it further in state, we need to play some of the best teams around here.
Well, ladies, thank you all so much for joining us this morning. Best of luck this season. Looking forward to covering you guys throughout the year.
Thank you.
Bella Quinn, Mandy Lane, Shaylin Steele joining us here from Russell. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll continue the Boys and Girls 16th Region Preview Show after this on Kool TV.
When you have business away from home or a planned event far from your comfort zone, you're probably going to need a little help. Let A&A Porta Potties assist you with all your portable toilet needs. Whether on a construction site, planning for an outdoor wedding, or any other outdoor event, A&A Porta Potties are here to assist you. A&A Porta Potties also rents out storage containers, office containers, cooling fans, tables, and chairs. A&A Porta Potties, there is no event too big or too small for us to accommodate you.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. In addition to the Greenup location, Stultz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-through. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stultz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stultz Pharmacy.
All right, Boyd County boys in 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back on the 16th Region Boys and Girls Basketball Preview Show. On location here at Boyd County Middle School, I've got Randy Anderson, a couple of players. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Doing well. Hard to believe here it is time for basketball season. It just seems like we were finishing things up over in Moorhead not too long ago, but season is right around the corner, and I know you guys are ready to get back on the hardwood.
It jumped on us quick. You know, just a shout out to our football team. Had a really, really good year and a run in the postseason, and really happy for them. And winning breeds winning. And we went through a stretch where we were kind of low in numbers in practice, you know, and that's not a bad thing sometimes. Got to work on a lot of individual stuff, this and that, but now have them back in the fold. And you know, I can't forget Logan Price in soccer, because Garrett plays for them as well. But just good to have everybody, and had a chance to travel to Louisville this past Saturday. And sometimes this time of the year you get tired of looking at each other, you know. And for us to all be the same color and be on the same team and do that on Saturday was really a lot of fun. But you're right. I mean, the season seems like it's far away, then all of a sudden, boom, it's time to play.
You know, not the result that you wanted at the end of last year. You come up short there in the championship game, but What do you take away from the season that you put together and the group of kids that you returned this year to start building forward and hopefully getting back into the Sweet 16?
It was. I mean, when you get to looking at our season, I think we finished like 23-8. Did not have a bad loss, so to say, in that 8. And for these guys just to grind with really a bunch of young ones, and then our veteran guys were very seasoned, and you could just see them as the year went on, just mentally got a lot tougher, and their confidence and their chemistry was a lot better. So with them being able to do that and get to a regional final and know what that feels like, that intensity part of it feels like, I think it just better seasons us for how we start this year and what we build toward.
Go back to the game that you guys had against Elliott County, and I talked with Coach Greg Atkins yesterday. We were going back through that game. I said that was probably one of the most memorable games of the regional tournament in many years, just because of the way that it went back and forth so much. But you guys found a way there. Last 2 minutes of the ball game, that was a game that looked like that Elliott County was going to take away, and you guys found a way to win.
Elliott's kind of been our bugaboo since I've been here. You know, we've always went head to head, and you know, I remember the first time we played them up 7.5, and then they had a really good second half and eliminated us, and then felt like one of their better teams with Spencer and that bunch. Felt like we had them, and they hit a shot out of the corner, then he hits one really deep to put it in overtime, and so you just kind of know that their program is built on toughness, and they're really basketball IQ kids, and so we knew it was going to be tough. The Griffin boys were tough. Atkins was good, and so, or Adams, and so it was once again just a good growing period for our bunch, and to know that together a lot's accomplished, and for us to be able to play like we did in the last 2 minutes, execute and make free throws was huge.
What was the thing that you came out of last season with, that you went into summer and off-season conditioning, of saying this is where we have to be able to get if we want to take our team to that next step?
Well, we are very blessed here. We've got really skilled kids that are committed to each other, and they really work hard and that type of thing. It just came down to, you know, what do we have to do to kind of get ourselves to the point where we can compete to get to Rupp. And we knew we had to get in the weight room. We had to get more physical. We had to get stronger. Just the more shots you take, the more comfortable you are, and that type of thing. Plus, just play together. You know what I'm saying? Just once again, make the circle really tight with a lot of love in it, and that was kind of our goal from spring until now.
Let's talk about the two guys I've got with us here, Kool and Jason. They bring their own attributes to the team in different ways. Jason is a guy that, you know, when he goes inside the paint, it's going to be a very physical battle. He's going to go to war for you on the glass. With Kool, being able to score it off the bounce, being able to distribute the basketball where you need it to, that's something that's very important. And you put these two guys together and sprinkle around the players they've got with them, it makes you guys a very formidable opponent each and every night.
It is. I mean, Bird's been like that since day one in the 8th grade. I call him Bird, but that's Jason. And Jason's always been very physical. His demeanor, when you see him, he kind of looks like the, you know, easy going this and that, but between the lines, he's a different animal. And he's always been like that, and he wants to guard the best post guy. Last year, one of his goals was to try to be in the top 10, if not lead the state in rebounding. You know, a lot of times it's the scoring aspect, but he understands, you know, what he can do and what he can bring to our team, and just the extra things that he does. Very great kid, very good kid in the classroom, and he knows that within our team he's got to be a real leader as well. And he and Kool went to the University of Charleston to a leadership deal for us there one weekend, and they just understand now the value of communicating and leading, you know, by example, but also by talk. And so Jason just continues to get better in all phases. Kool's one of these guys. We've got 2 or 3 of them, but very, very few times that you come over here and they're not already in the gym with the gun out and getting shots up, and is committed to trying to be the best that he can be. And you know, Saturday had a really good scoring game, but also had a really good assist game. And it just goes to prove when you spend time, you're going to get a paycheck. And both these guys just very blessed that they're on our team, and 2 of our leaders.
Jason, for you, going to the rebounding side of things, At what point did you understand the more rebounds I get, the more opportunities I have for scoring?
Mainly just helped out my teammates, to be honest with you, because if I got a missed shot or something and I rebounded it, it normally helped out our team. So.
How much have you noticed that, as you said, the really taking care of the rebounding side of things, but becoming more physical? How much has that elevated your game?
I think it's definitely helped because, a lot of injuries and stuff, but I think just being physical just kind of helps me go through it, so I think it helps.
Coming up short last year in the regional championship game, how much fuel to the fire does that add to you of this season of trying to get Boyd County back to the state tournament?
I think it's helped us have a really good offseason, and I think it's helped push each other to get better, and I think we're going to win it this year.
Kool, for you, as a point guard and a guy that runs in the guard position, what's the most difficult part for you of understanding when to go, when not to go, when to distribute, and all the different things that has to go in that position?
Well, it's all about pacing. I mean, you don't want to go 100% all the time. You got to change speeds, and that's what Coach A's been emphasizing to get downhill. You want to change your pace and change your speed and get by, and that's mainly the focus as his guards.
You talk about getting downhill. For you, understanding those attacking lanes and how to attack when you're supposed to attack and be able to dribble, drive, and kick, how much has the game started to slow down for you so you can see when those places are the places to attack and when you need to get rid of the basketball?
Well, it's slowed down a lot because, just reps after reps, doing it in practice, doing it a lot. I've been playing up, so just doing it over and over again, it starts to slow down and it just gets repetition.
What's the biggest goal that you put on your table for this year you wanted to be able to achieve to make your game go to that next level?
Well, I want to focus on defense because we have so many scores and stuff. It's just going to start on the defensive end, and if our defense is good, our offense is going to be great. So.
Coach was talking about you had a really good scoring game on Saturday, but you also had a good assist game. Have you figured out the part of the game to where when the assists come, the scoring opportunities come as well?
Yeah, if you get your teammates involved, everything else is going to open up. When I feed it down to Jay's going to go to work down low, then it just creates other opportunities for us shooters on the three-point line. So.
Jason, for you, that one goal that you put on the kind of the personal accolades for this year that you wanted to achieve, what is that?
Me personally, I want to average a double-double, but not only that, but I want to shoot good from the free throw line. As a team, I feel like we have a really good shooting team, and I think if I make my free throws, I think we'll be really good.
Coach, when you look at your team and the way you guys like to play, it's get it up and down the floor for 32 minutes, and it's, again, knowing when to attack, when to pull things out. What do you like about your makeup of your team to where they have that IQ of knowing when's the right time to go and when you have to pull it back out and circle the wagons up and kind of slow things down?
Yeah, I feel like, we're 8 or 9 deep this year, and we're full of athletes, and we are very, very skilled, whether it's inside out or outside in. I really like the makeup of our bunch. I feel like on every night, we should be able to really guard it, especially in the quarter court, and we're getting better at heating it and maybe able to press it, which in turn is going to give us more possessions. But these guys, especially Saturday, were very good about running lanes, stretching the floor, and when that happens, our kids are very, very unselfish. That was probably the most impressive thing about them on Saturday was just they were willing to make one more pass. They were willing to make one more cut. They were willing to make one more screen. And as long as they keep building on that, then it's going to do nothing but, number one, really increase their confidence level in who they are. But it's also going to make them very dangerous and hard to guard.
Well, Coach, we appreciate the time this morning. Thanks for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys throughout the season.
Same here. We really appreciate everything you do for our guys.
Greatly appreciate it. Kool Hicks, Jason Ellis, Coach Randy Anderson joining us here on the show. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll talk with Pete Fraley from Boyd County girls basketball. That's as we continue here on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Preview Show on the Kool Hits Sports Network.
When you shop and invest locally, you put in motion a sequence of actions which multiplies the money that is available in our area to create jobs and provide emergency services, police, and fire protection, as well as improving the quality of education in our local schools. Shop and invest locally whenever you can. First in People's Bank and Trust Company, member FDIC. We are the home office.
You
thought for a long time about keeping your firearms and valuables safe and out of harm's way. Borders Sporting Goods has the area's greatest selection of Liberty safes and a wide range of sizes, styles, and colors. And Borders also has the Tri-State's best and most complete selection of firearms, hunting supplies, fishing supplies, archery supplies, knives, camo, and boots. From the smallest fishing hook to the largest Liberty safe, the best brands, the best selection, and the best prices in the Tri-State are at Borders Sporting Goods, Route 60 West in Ashland, where your money will be well spent.
What do you look for in a pharmacy? Healthy Way Pharmacy always takes care of any prescription needs, but also has a wide variety of home medical equipment complete with delivery service. At Healthy Way, the wait is always shorter and the prices are usually less. Call 928-1001 for any questions. They're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and Saturday from 9 to 1. Healthy Way Pharmacy and Home Medical Supply, US 60 Cannonsburg, next to the KDMC Outreach Center and in Sandy Hook.
Johnny's Pizza, 117 West Main Street in Grayson, is a small, non-chain restaurant with more than just pizza with great dough and sauces. Johnny's also has wings, subs, pastas, salads, baked potatoes, fries, onion rings, buffalo chips, pickled chips, calzones, iced coffee, milkshakes, and more. And Johnny's dressings are homemade. The friendly staff, great service, and a menu unlike any other pizza place. You'll see why Johnny's is the best. Johnny's Pizza, 117 West Main Street in Grayson. Check him out on Facebook.
Back here on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show, coming to you from Cannonsburg and Boyd County Middle School. I've got Pete Fraley, Jasmine Jordan, and Audrey Biggs in locker room this morning. Coach and ladies, good morning.
Good morning.
Coach, let's talk about last year. You and I, we talked at the beginning of the season and preseason. I said, what do you think about your team? He said, I have no idea. And it was an untested team that you knew that you had some battle scars that you were going to have to get, some growing pains you were going to have to go through. And in the end, you end up putting yourself in the Sweet 16.
Well, I really liked my team, even though there was a lot of unknowns, but I liked the way they worked. I liked their chemistry, and that was just a work in progress. And you know, we took some lumps. I mean, we got hammered pretty good by a couple teams, and you know, we just kept the faith. We would come in here every day, and it would be, hey, you know, we can still do this. And you know, we came together at the right time and got hot at the right time and made a nice run.
How much do you take those lumps that you took in the early part of the season that got you ready for the type of competition you're going to see in the tournament to make that run when you guys did?
Well, we talked about our schedule earlier, and we're not going to back our schedule off regardless. And we do that for a purpose because I do think it helps us. When you face really good competition and you get in those battles, it's something to draw on. And you know, we'll always play a tough schedule. You know, a lot of our kids play AAU and they play tough schedules, and they see these players out there, and I just want to challenge them, and I don't want it to be easy. I know that sounds bad, but I want to see them struggle and want to see how they react to hard times, and you know, it's a work in progress, and I know we like to win every game, but at the same time, I want them to be ready come February.
At what point last year did you notice that change had happened, that you guys got on that hot run before you got into districts and then made the run into the regional tournament and got through there with the championship?
Well, we went to Louisville and we played Louisville Assumption, and Louisville Assumption's not a Sacred Heart or a Mercy or somebody like that. They were a solid team, but they weren't one of those teams. But they did some things to us that we had struggled in, and we took care of it. And coming home from that game, I was like, we're really close. Now, we stumbled against Rowan County out here on senior night and stuff, but we knew we had the makings, and it was just a matter of putting it together for 3 games at the region tournament. And you know, we put ourselves in a really good situation by winning the district. And but yeah, the Louisville, it was Valentine's Day shootout at Louisville-Butler, and we played really well there. And just on the way home, I was like, we can do this. So, and I think it clicked in the girls' heads too.
Having the ability to score the ball inside out or inside in, whichever way that you guys want to go, how much different does it make defenses that has to slow you guys down because you can work through the post or you can spread it out and shoot at 5 out if you need to?
Yeah, and we do that. A lot of our offense, it's not just a post dominant or guard dominant. You know, we try to be as versatile as we possibly can. And, you know, we've got kids this year who shoot the ball really well. We've got post players who play really well in the post. You know, our kids are, you know, obviously a year older, so I just like the feel of our team. Emily, she's hit 5 threes down at the state tournament, and it was kind of like a eye-opening experience for her. And I see Mackenzie Moore come back, and she lives in the gym and shoots a bunch of threes. So you do that, and then you got post players that are in here working. Jazz and Audrey and Sophie Bailey, Aaliyah. They're all in here along with Mila, and I don't know. It's kind of contagious. They all want to help and contribute to the team. And Bella Opel, a lot of people don't realize this, but last year she didn't start the year with us because she was having this shoulder surgery we were talking about earlier, and you know how painful that is, and I do too. But she struggled, handling the ball early, and she's worked hard, and hopefully we can move her back to the point position and free Taylor up, because what people don't realize, Taylor's a really good three-point shooter, but with the ball in her hands and off the dribble, she's a little different. And this year we're going to free her up a little bit and let her get camped out over there, and I think you'll see a much different Taylor Bartram.
Well, that was one of the things I was going to ask you, is that having Taylor at the point guard position, obviously you've got your energy there, your high motor player that is 100 miles an hour as soon as she steps on the floor, but having her have to learn how to score off the bounce, how much difference did that make her game at the beginning as to what we saw there at the end of the year?
Well, it changed a lot, because she was really comfortable going to the basket, but the pull-up mid-range jumper, that was something she had to work on. And now we can bring her off some screens and get her feet set and hopefully make it a little more comfortable for her. And Bella Opel does a really nice job of getting to the basket and shooting floaters. And when you've got Emily and Mackenzie and Taylor out there, and we've got another little 8th grader, Jada Ray, coming along, I mean, they can all fill it up. And that's not to say that these two can't either, because they can shoot the 3 ball. And James, you've watched us play for a long time. We shoot a lot of threes, and we don't. I mean, that's what
Audrey
we
finds
do.
that funny.
Yeah. And these two, Jazz last year, she didn't shoot a 3 that I can recall until we were playing Morgan County. She made a steal and dribbles up the floor and hits a 3, and I'm like, what's that? And and she was like, I can do that, coach. And I said, well, okay. So she's worked at it. She's in here on the gun, every evening and getting extra shots up. So we'll shoot the 3 from anywhere.
You take Taylor and you slide her into that 2 or that 3 guard position and be able to put her out on the wings and from the corner. Having that ability to do what she did last year, where she had to control it from the bounce, how much more versatile does that make her on the scoring, and also forcing defenses to have to maybe break down because of the way that she can attack from the wings?
Well, and I think it also gives her a little rest. Obviously when teams press us, she's going to have to help bring the ball up the floor, but it kind of gives her a little breather, and I think you'll just see a different player in that aspect. And we're still trying to get her in basketball shape from volleyball. I mean, phenomenal volleyball season. And James, a lot of times it's like when there's a speaker and you like, ooh, I hate to follow that. Well, we're following up, our soccer team, our volleyball team, our football team, all pretty successful, and we know our boys basketball team is going to be successful. But we've had a great fall sports run at Boyd County, and we just hope that we can carry that over, into the winter, and hopefully let softball, baseball, track, and I don't want to leave out cross country too, because they had a regional championship and a runner-up. So just all of our sports right now are on the uptick.
Well, we've talked about so many. Let's talk about the 2 ladies that we have here with us. But Jasmine last year had to kind of figure things out early on. And from last year to this year, especially in the off-season conditioning, you and I were talking earlier, it's a different player.
I think so. I think you're going to see a completely different player. And she played great for us last year, especially in the end. But I'll let Jazz. I mean, a light bulb has clicked for her. She's got some offers on the table, and I think she's ready to have a breakout season.
Jasmine, for you last year, what was it that you struggled with the most of just trying to figure out the varsity side of basketball? And when do you feel like that light bulb, as Coach talked about, came on to where you really kind of figured things out?
Well, okay, so I had 6 seniors when I was a freshman, so that kind of hurt. But just playing against Hannah Roberts, she's a unit. I think I didn't lift much weights then, but she just made me stronger in general. Just practicing her nailing me in practice every day, that made me stronger. I don't know really when the light bulb changed, because I was just living. But
Morgan County is when the light bulb.
Yeah.
When I saw it change for her.
For you, having the ability to work from the post, but also being able to step out and hit that mid-range jumper, for you, how much does that open up your game to be able to make you be able to do more things offensively for the team?
It opens up a lot because most people are like, oh, she's so lanky, she can only shoot the layup. But then when they realized I could start shooting, I could pump fake and go around them, and they're like, wow, I didn't know she could do that, you know? So I think it makes it's harder to guard me.
Audrey, for you, you're kind of a swing man. You can score on the post, you can take it out and shoot it from long range, you can hit that mid-range jumper, you can score it off the bounce. What's the thing for your game, though, that you feel like is probably the strongest, and what's the one thing that you want to see that you want to get better with?
Pull-up game is definitely my go-to off the wing, you know. Rip, 1-2, pull up. I think that's what I'm going to have to use at the next level for sure, because I'll be the 3, the 2 out in college. But I think something I need to work on is coming off the dribble and finishing, different finishes around the basket. I'm just getting a little bit crafty, so.
When you talk about that pull-up game, and again, I know those spots on the floor. I've been around you long enough. I know where those are going. When you get to your spot, how fulfilling is that as a player? Because you know now it's shooting into the gun.
Yeah, I mean, it's reps. I mean, I come in here every night and with my dad, and it's just the same thing over and over, and it's in the game, it's the same thing, speed, everything. So
I know for you, you're anxious to get back after things after an ACL injury, and I was talking with Coach. The response that you've had so far has been remarkable, and just the fact that you've been back with the team and looking at a possible return, and not even talking about a year, we're talking about months, has been remarkable at its best.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very blessed, to say the least. God's definitely got me, but it's definitely been awesome mentally. Just
As I talked about, it starts with Taylor and her energy. How much does the team feed from her?
we would not be the same team without Taylor Bartram. I mean, defensively, it's her thing. I mean, she's probably one of the best defenders in the state, and I think that her game has changed a lot, and offensively, she's going to be a threat as well. So
she's one of the best on-ball defenders I've coached in 26 years.
Well, I remember when Taylor came to Boyd County, and I saw her in volleyball, and you and I were talking, and you said, wait till you see her on the basketball court, and her motor and the way that she reads the floor defensively you can't teach that.
Yeah, she
don't stop.
She has a knack for that, and yeah, it's contagious. When she's getting down and playing, you see our other kids, and that's not to say our other kids don't play defense or can't play defense, but you need somebody to kind of get you going, and she'll slide over and take the hard charge and dive on the floor and do whatever. And yeah, that, like I said, that's not to say the rest of our kids won't do that either, but she kind of leads by example there.
And does it with a smile on her face, too. Always. Coach, no seniors last year, and you bring back this group that you took to the state tournament, and you look at what you've got this year. You've got a bullseye on your back going in, even though you feel like you're still going to take some lumps, as you said. What is it about the complexity of this team, though, that you feel like that has the ability to make that run again and continue to build this program for what it's been in many, many years?
Well, when you've been there and done that, you know it can be done again. And, you know, we're a resilient bunch. I mean, like I said, we took some knocks last year, and, you know, we could have just hung our heads and, you know, went to the house. But we came into the gym, we worked hard, we bought into what we were trying to do, and we got better each and every day. And, you know, that's something that we preach all the time. We got to be better today than we were yesterday. And I like this bunch. I like the fight they have. We're not there yet. We're nowhere near being where we need to be, but it'll be a work in progress again, and no seniors again this year. So, yeah, got this bunch for 2 more years.
You kind of like that idea, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long senior night in a couple of seasons, though, that's for sure.
It will. Yeah, and we've got several kids here. I think we've got 5 juniors without looking, or six juniors without looking down, and I don't want to name because I'll forget somebody. But yeah, 6 seniors, and there'll be a lot of banners on the walls up there for senior night.
Yeah, enjoy it while it's as it is where it is right now, though.
Yeah.
Boyd County Coach Pete Fraley, Jasmine Jordan, and Audrey Biggs. Thanks so much for joining us this morning here, guys, and best of luck this season.
Thank you.
We'll take a break as we continue on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show here on the Kool Sports Network.
Smithfield Foods in Grayson is a proud community partner, taking pride in providing a safe and friendly environment for their workers and for the community. Smithfield Foods is always ready to support our growing community any way they can. Smithfield Foods is the world's largest pork processor and hog producer, and they're committed to providing good food in a responsible and environmentally safe way. Proud to be a part of the community. Smithfield Foods in Grayson.
Home is where you hang your hat. And if you're looking for a newer, nicer home to hang your hat in, talk to the Commercial Bank of Grayson. You'll like our selection of fixed and adjustable rate mortgages and competitive rates. We also offer construction loans, auto loans, online and mobile banking, and many other services. Commercial Bank of Grayson, Grayson and Olive Hill, here for you for 125 years and counting. And you can hang your hat on that. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
For those on the go, the smoothie connoisseur, the break room favorite, and for those that just never quite have it all, Clark's has what you need to keep your day on track. Make life easier and keep your busy schedule moving forward with everything you need at Clark's. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back here on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show. James Collier now joined with Rowan County head coach Sean Thacker. And Coach, thanks for taking the time out to join us this afternoon.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking the time to come up here to do the interviews. We got our Meet the Vikings tonight. We'll introduce all our middle school and high school players and cheerleaders. And, we'll come in here tonight and sell some tickets to some UK games, football and basketball, and I think we got some Taylor Swift tickets too somehow, some way.
How'd you get those?
I don't know. Ticketmaster best up, I guess. But my understanding, we got a couple of those tickets to sell, so should be a good fundraising night for us, and we'll get in here and just have a little bit of fun. And Giovanni's sponsors that event for us, so we're thankful for them and being able to come in here and show off our kids before the season gets started.
And we'll talk to some of the kids here in just a few moments. Let's talk about the season last year. 17-17. It was, we talked several times throughout the year. Really, at the beginning of the year, you wasn't for sure what you had or where you were going to go. Started to figure some things out there late.
Yeah, we were so young. It was the youngest team that I have ever coached, and we're still young. But we're young with experience. And but last year, at one time we were 6-14, and we were never that far off the beaten path. But it was just that experience factor, and we had a lot to learn about ourselves. And I give Chase and Cody a lot of credit for the patience that they had with our young cast that they had around them. It'd been real easy to get impatient and start pointing fingers and have the thing unravel on you. But I think they knew we as coaches wouldn't give up on them. And, I think one of the social media people said this should bode well for next year. And I came into practice the next day and said, we're not worried about next year. We're worried about this year. I'm not giving up on this season. We're not gonna quit working, and we're going to continue to get better. And, I think they knew that we meant that. We weren't going to give up on that group of seniors, and we weren't going to tank the season and wait till next year, so to speak. So, a lot of credit to them. And the young kids, they continued to work hard and buy in. The young kids that we got were used to winning, and losing wasn't setting well with them. And, we just stuck together, and I think that was a good tribute. And that's why last year was probably up there as far as one of the most enjoyable seasons as a coach, because as a coach you want your teams to get better and to show progression and to do those kind of things. And for where we were last year at the beginning to where we were at the end, I wish we would have finished with a healthy cast and to see what might could have or would have happened. But we were playing really, really good basketball down the stretch, and really proud of that team.
Yeah, you talk about some of the young kids, they were used to winning. And when you make that step up to the junior varsity level and then up to the varsity level, things change a little bit. Learning how to win at the varsity level is a little bit different than some of the things they've experienced. And when they figured that out, that's when they really took that next step forward.
Yeah, it's just the maturation process, the growing up process, and then finding out, as a coach, what can I do with this kid right now with his skill set that he has now. And that's like this year's team. We have to retool things. You don't Batman ain't there. He's at Eastern. He threw 97 the other day in a bullpen, so he's doing really well. But and Cody Collins was playing so good down the stretch. But we got Braden and J.A. and Colby back, 3 starters from last year's team to build around. I like the nucleus, of those guys, and they'll be the ones now that we'll have to lean on for the leadership to make sure that they understand, that they know how things are to be, and to make sure they lead in the right way. And the other day in the scrimmage, I talked to J.A. I thought in the huddle, some of the things he was saying was showing maturity on his part as a leader, and that's the things you look for as a coach.
What do we see this year on the floor this year for Rowan County? Are you guys a team that's going to work inside out, or is it up and down the floor with your hair on fire, or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. I think we do have the ability to play up tempo. Because in essence we're going to have a couple of guards that we will start with. With Deshaun and J.A. both being point guards by nature, that's going to give us some of that flexibility to get out and go. I think the three-point line will be big for us this year. Last year we struggled out there till toward the end of the year. We finally started learning how to get shots and make shots for each other. But as the season went on, we started shooting a little bit better. The other day in our scrimmage, I think we hit 11 threes in the scrimmage. So that's encouraging. We have been doing a lot of shooting. So hopefully, playing inside out to create those. And some of that may not be as much as throwing it to the post as driving it to the basket, those kind of things.
Having 2 point guards with the ability to, like you said, penetrate and be able to kick out, how much does that open up your offense to give you kind of another wrinkle that maybe teams don't want to see from you?
Right, and it's definitely going to give us a lot of ability to play downhill. Kobe definitely is a downhill player too. So to be able to get paint touches, sometimes it's got to be off the drive. The other day, one of the things we do have to get better at is when we get in there making the right decisions. I think as the season goes on, we'll get better and better at that. We haven't changed a lot of the system as far as, last year what we were trying to do and how we tried to accomplish things. Hopefully this year, that's kind of made the transition easier, with Braden Hammonds, back in as our post player this summer. He was able to step out too and be able to knock down some shots on the perimeter. We're hoping that, offensively we need his offensive ability to pick up a little bit, and we feel confident that's going to happen as the season goes on. So, we're excited about it. We think we got good depth with our junior and sophomore class. We got a couple of seniors in Ryan Horton and Zach Watson who returned back to the team this year, and we think those guys are going to be big factors for us too.
You talk about depth, and one of the things you talk about when you talk about tempo, you also start thinking about on the defensive side of things. That a lot of times allows teams to really turn the pressure up on the defensive side of things. Do you look at the up tempo on the defensive side of things? Do you junk it up a lot this year? What do we see defensively?
Well, the one thing that we did last year, we were behind a lot. Early in the year, so we had to press a lot, and we got pretty good at it. And we always, even in the losses last year, we played a lot better once we got behind, and we got to pin our ears back and go and get after people. So, I think that's something that will be available. Weston Maxey, will be a kid that we're going to rely on this year. He came up big for us down the stretch last year, and we expect that to transition into his play this year. And he's one of those guys who can cause a little havoc. He's got those long arms, and he's got that soccer background, and he's one. Even the other day, he caused a little bit of havoc and caused some good things to happen on that end. Plus, he's a really, really good three-point shooter, and so that's part of that three-point package that we have. Not that we're exactly like Boyd, but there's some similarities as far as we're going to be chasing them, but it'll be something that we'll get a good measuring stick the first week of the season when we play those guys because they're really, really good at what they do, and we're probably similar in style and some of the things that we have.
What do you like about the makeup of your schedule this season, the challenges that you're going to see along the way that get you ready for district tournament time, regional tournament time, and try to make a trip to the state tournament?
Well, the first week is Mason at Mason, Boyd at home on Thursday, and then we go to Russell.
You must
in
have made the
KC.
AD mad or something.
Coach Mann he's the principal. He made out the schedule. No, I mean, we believe in playing a tough schedule. We believe in challenging our kids and finding out where we are. We scrimmaged South Laurel the other day. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, iron sharpens iron. If you want to get better, you're gonna have to play a good schedule. You know, and that's like last year. You know, the tough schedule eventually paid off for us, and but it took a while, and you know, there were some growing pains that weren't pleasurable, but you know, we could have the same exact thing. You know, although we got some of the kids back, it's not the same team. You know, you don't have a couple of those kids in there, and I don't have one kid who can assume all that responsibility. I think as a group collectively, we have to show maturity and you know, and battle through that. You know, we go to one of the trips we're looking really forward to is December the 10th. We're going to Knightstown, Indiana, to go play in the Hoosiers gym where they filmed the movie. We're going to have a video showing. I think half our kids haven't seen the movie. So that's a crime to be a basketball player and never have watched it. But, you know, we're looking forward to that. I called my former assistant coach at Somerset, who's the AD, and asked him, would they be interested? And they have over 100 years of basketball history there at Somerset. So, yeah, they agreed. And so our boys and girls are going to go up there and play. We're going to Gatlinburg to play in a Christmas tournament. After Christmas, we got our Stockyard Bank Challenge. We got 20 teams coming to town and a lot of local teams here. So actually it's evolved into a 3-day event because it was at that or a 10 o'clock tip, which I was kind of really opposed to. We've done it in the past, and we're going to play Elliott County on a Thursday, JV varsity, to tip it off, and then we won't play on Friday. We'll have 8 games here on Friday, and then we'll or 6 games, and then turn around and have full slate of games here on Saturday. So we're looking forward to the first month, and then you get into the 2A. You got Mason on the road at Mason, so no easy task there. I think we got Pikeville, Floyd Central, some of the out-of-region opponents that we have on our schedule, and we're looking forward to the challenges.
All right, Coach, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, joined now with 3 members of the boys basketball team. I'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourselves. I'll start all the way down here at the end.
Colby Wilburn.
Braden Hammonds.
Jason Ingalls.
Thanks for joining us here today, guys. Colby, I'll start down there with you. 17-17 last year, obviously not the season that one would want, but at the thing Coach was talking about, 6-14 at one point in the season. You guys made that run at late. What do you take away from last season that you guys built off of?
Well, how much we grew from the start of the season, where we started off as a young team and learning how to play together. By the end of the year, we had learned how to play together and grown together, and now we're a more experienced and better team.
Brady, when you look at from last season, what's the one thing that you take away from that as you get yourself ready for this year?
You know, last year our chemistry wasn't very good. You know, at the start of the year, chemistry wasn't very good. We really built that throughout the year, and we're really looking to bring it into this year. Our chemistry is much better this year with our returning people, and we're ready.
Jason, out front with the basketball, what was the thing that really got the offense moving there, especially in that second half of the season?
First half, we were kind of hesitant with, like, decision making. Like, usually when we were younger, me and Colby, we always grew up in the same team. We're fast paced, but last year's different. Thacker's a slow paced coach, and we had to adjust. And once we figured it out, we finally got into our comfort zone and made shots. And we got stronger as the season went on too. We started to trust each other more and move the ball a bit more. That's what really kind of keyed a big part of the season.
Coach talked about it just a little bit ago. He said he felt like this year you guys have some depth, and that will allow you to play some of that up-tempo. How much does that allow you guys to play into your comfort zone of being able to really get up in teams defensively, but also get it up and down the floor?
It's a lot better for us this year because last year we didn't have an experienced bench either because we were also really young. This year we can go up and down a lot faster and get more bodies on the floor and more shots and more steals, more defense, more able to go up and down the floor, which is something we really need to work on because we saw this weekend it wasn't good, but that'll happen throughout the season.
Brady, when you get an up and down game for you, especially being a big guy down in the post, how does that play for you of being able to, one, make yourself known on the offensive side, but also be part of that defensive effort?
Well, you know, sometimes it's a little tiring, but, you know, you gotta go through it. I mean, I'm usually in the middle of the zone. Man's not really too much of a thing we got to do. But when I'm in the zone, I'm just saving my energy for the offensive side, really. But I'm still getting after it on the defensive end.
Colby, coming off of last year, what was the thing you guys went into in the off-season workouts and conditioning of getting yourself ready for this year that you feel like that you've succeeded in those goals in the off-season, that you can take it and apply it on the court?
Well, a lot of working on getting stronger, because losing Chase last year and Cody losing all those rebounds and assists, working how we could make up all those rebounds, assists, and everything we lose with them.
You look at the season last year, and what Coach was talking about, he said, you don't play a soft schedule. You play those tough games, but it prepares you for those games that you see in tournament time. How much do you look back at that schedule last year when you guys were losing there in the first part of the year, and it looks at why you were able to make that run like you did?
Well, it prepared us for it. Without, learning how to handle those tough games and those tight situations, we wouldn't have been able to handle the environment and district and region.
Braden, for you this year with Chase being gone, knowing you're the guy, how much more do you have to accept that leadership role of being able to make that next step forward, of being that post presence this team needs?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's going to be a big leadership role this year with the young guys like we all got. Only one other senior or two other seniors with me. Just going to be that leader this year. We all got to work together and fill that role that Chase and Cody did with the rebounds. But I'm going to be a big part of the rebounding.
Jason, for you guys offensively, is this a team that you look to score inside out, or is there ways that you can score depending on how the defense presents itself to you?
Yeah, I think the way that it presents itself to us, because in a zone, it's going to be hard to guard us, because this summer we really worked on our outside shot. Braden really improved on his outside shot this summer, and that could be something big for us. That's going to be a big part. So losing Chase inside was going to really hurt, but Braden will also pick up that role that Chase had, and if Braden's having a big night, it could open up for our shooters, and if we're having a big night, open up for Braden.
How much do you see that being, especially with the guy out front with the basketball, of knowing when to go inside, when to dribble drive, when to do the kick, and taking what the defense is giving you?
It's kind of a thing that I always picked up on. Say, Braden, last year was something different for him. He's not used to that slow pace either, because that JV year and my freshman year, we were up and down a lot. And last year we slowed it down, and he played really good for us in the post, and he was the beat guy. He's the guy that took the fouls, got the crap beat out of him, but this year he's going to be the Chase this year. We're going to have him inside doing all the work that we need to be done.
Braden, for you, knowing that the offense is going to feed through you in that post position, but also understanding that's going to draw double teams, sometimes triple teams, knowing to be able to see the floor and how to be able to move the basketball. How much have you worked on that in the offseason?
I've always had that skill. I think I've been told that I'm a good inside-out passer, especially when they double team me or I get a lot of pressure. I'm always usually able to find the open man. I got the eyes in the back of my head usually. And yeah, I've always really had that skill, I think.
Colby, having someone that you can work into the post and then it can swing it to the outside. Coach was talking about, he feels like the three-point shooting game maybe wasn't there much last year, came at the end, but he really feels like this team has the ability to shoot the three ball. How much more does that give you those open looks, especially when that defense has to sag in to take him away?
Well, it's a big difference. It gets you so much more time to set up your three and have the ability to shoot with space. And then having that big guy inside, everything's so much easier.
Well, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us this morning, and best of luck this season.
Thank you.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we've got Matt Stokes, Katie Chandler, and Haven Ford, Rowan County girls basketball team, as we continue our coverage here on the 16th Region Boys and Girls Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Sports Network.
When you have business away from home or a planned event far from your comfort zone, you're probably going to need a little help. Let A&A Porta Potties assist you with all your portable toilet needs. Whether on a construction site, planning for an outdoor wedding, or any other outdoor event, A&A Porta Potties are here to assist you. A&A Porta Potties also rents out storage containers, office containers, cooling fans, tables, and chairs. A&A Porta Potties, there is no event too big or too small for us to accommodate you.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. In addition to the Greenup location, Stultz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location with free delivery service and their convenient drive-through. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots and, of course, great prescription service at Stultz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stultz Pharmacy.
Back here on the 16th Region Boys and Girls Basketball Preview Show here at Rowan County High School, joined with Matt Stokes and Rowan County Girls Team. Coach, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thanks for coming down and doing this with us.
Well, and it was one of those unique situations. We had planned on doing this on the 22nd. The Ashland Christmas Parade turned that into a logistical nightmare.
Yes.
Then we moved it to the 21st, and that turned into a logistical nightmare for you guys. But a lot of talk around your team this year, again, especially with the players that you have to offer. And we certainly wanted to make sure that you guys had the coverage.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We were looking forward. I was looking forward to coming up because I like to go out to eat, so that'd give us a reason to come up, do the interview, and go catch a good meal somewhere in Ashland. And but we appreciate you coming down, getting a chance for our girls to get a little light put on them because they've worked hard for the last several years, and I feel like it's something that they've really worked hard for and deserve. So.
Let's talk about last year. We were talking just a little bit ago. Certainly not the finish that you thought that you were going to have when you got to Moorhead. You come up a little bit short where you wanted to get to, but you feel like that the opportunities are still there.
I do. We've got a really good group. We lost Haley Rose from last year's team, but these girls, and these two especially, have worked out all summer long. Our fall workouts, the boys, they've been going with the boys team before we actually picked up, our practices, and we've had about 8 or 9 girls going each and every time. So that's the most we've ever had working out on their own, not something that we're making them come in and do. So I feel like our depth this year is going to be a big difference for us.
Having that depth, and it's something I was talking with Coach Thacker a little bit ago, a lot of people look at depth and they immediately think offense, but I think defense, because it allows you to really stay up into people. How much do you see that adding to your team?
Right. Well, and I think for us, when we sub, our defense is going to be better. Our offense is going to struggle a little bit, but the way we want to play defense, that'll help our offense out. Our first scrimmage of the year, we subbed 3 girls in. I said, hey, let's go full court man to man, because the other team was tired. And of course, these two I'd left out the whole time. They're like, oh, we're a little tired. I said, well, let's do it a few trips. So they did a few trips, and that's what we're looking for is we're going 5-on-5, and you start to get tired and you have to sub somebody out. Then we're going to sub 3 in, and we're going to pick up the pressure even more and hopefully get you into some silly turnovers.
When you have the opportunity, like you said, of really picking things up, obviously Katie and Haven, those two, they're not going to leave the floor very often. If it is, it's going to be for a very short amount of time. But making certain that you don't over-fatigue them on the defensive side to take away from their offensive production, but at the same time, like you said, taking advantage of those opportunities that teams present to you.
Right, and yeah, they're not coming out very much. We tried doing a rotation these last 2 scrimmages of where, Katie will come out for a minute and a half, and then she goes in and checks in for Haven, and she'll come out for a minute and a half. But I'm not going to have them both at the same time. There's just no way. I mean, but the talent they both have, you've got to have at least one of them on the floor all the time if we want to do what we want. And, we'll be able to switch to some zone coverage and different things like that just to give them a break where we need it. Or, we've got some girls now who really get after it on the ball defense that we don't have to have Katie guarding the point guard, or we don't have to have Haven guarding the point guard. We can let somebody else do it and really take that burden off their shoulders.
Having somebody else that you can do to where you can take your 2 main offensive weapons off the ball and not always having to wear them out at that point, how much does that add to what they can do offensively as well as defensively?
Yeah, it's going to be huge because offensively, they're both our primary scorers. You see the last couple of games, they've both been scoring 20-some points a game. And we got to have that from them. They know that we're looking at them first. Our plays are going to be set up to where these two are getting the first options out of them. But not having to use all that energy on defense. They'll have their legs under when they shoot the basketball. This is probably the best we've ever shot the ball. In our practices, everything, and Haven's always been a really good scorer, but her three-point shooting has always kind of been, iffy at best, right?
Yeah.
And so, but this year she's really come along with her shooting, and I think with that, because we've got more girls that can help on defense, that these two can really relax on the offensive end and show what they can do.
Haven, with having that ability to step out and hit that long-range jumper, you're a dribble drive type of player,
Yes.
but how much does that open you up?
It opens it up a lot because, once you start knocking a couple down, they got to respect it. And so once you hit a couple, the drive opens up even more. And so that's really my go-to is getting to the rim and looking for those kickouts and stuff like that. And so, once hitting a couple, it really opens that up, and they got to respect that. So
Year after year, as the game has gone along for you, how much have you watched the game slow down to where it seems like things are moving in slow motion?
I feel like every game it does. They throw, the more you get scouted, the more they throw different things at you. And so you're kind of used to, once you get used to playing fast, doing things fast, and the more you get scouted, it's kind of like they're trying to slow you down. And that's really the point of it. And so you just adjust each game, go back and watch film, see how you can do better, and move on from there.
For you, knowing that there's going to be some nights, no matter what you do, you're going to have a double team around you, but having someone like Katie around you that okay, the double team comes to me, here's the basketball, go score it. How much does that force teams to have to not make that kind of decision because they can't afford to stay on you and drop off of her?
Right, it'll be big because I feel like across the board, we have scorers, and so I don't think I'll see that much double team as in years previously, because you got double team me, she's wide open, or someone else is wide open, and so we have kids that can knock the shot down. Katie can make the right play as well, and so that I don't think we'll see as many double teams, and if they do, I think that will be our advantage.
Katie, for you, having someone like Haven that she can get the basketball up and down the floor, but when she does that dribble drive and gets cut off, you're there for that kick out. How much does you guys, with that 1-2 punch, play off each other?
Yes, I love it. Haven, she always can give me the ball, and a lot of times I'll cut and some people can't give me that ball, but I love having her on my team because she can always give me the great pass that I need to score.
Knowing that, again, like we were talking about, double teams are going to go her way, but you're going to be that person that teams have to sag away from to go double on her. How much does you getting jumped out into that offensive production bring the double team away from her and allow her offensive opportunities to come back?
Yeah, I think it helps that we can both score, so teams can't just double up on one of us, so it really helps our offense.
Do you expect to see more man-to-man or more zone defense against you guys this year?
I expect to see more man-to-man. We have some really good shooters. I think zone could leave our shooters open, and we can definitely knock down the shots.
Haven, for you, which one would you rather play against, zone or man?
Of course, zone. Definitely zone. Get able to spot up and shoot, but I think we'll get zones throw out to us a lot more than man, just because we have a lot of faster guards and we like to play fast, and so that zone will slow us down, but at the same time we can knock the shots down as well.
Like Coach was talking about, having the ability to step out and shoot that long-range jumper. When teams stay in zone, the way you get teams out of zone, you shoot them out of it.
Course,
and
yeah.
When you have that ability and now you can spread the floor to get it into man-to-man, that dribble drive, that's when that comes into your game.
Yep, that's when it opens up, and so I think we got to take advantage of when teams do play a zone. We've got to knock those open shots down to really make them come out of that. And even though we do knock them down, we just got to be prepared for everything that's thrown at us. But definitely knocking down those open shots will be the key.
Coach, what do you think defensively this year? Zone, man, a little bit of everything?
We're going to do a little bit of everything. We got to, we're pretty small. So, we open up the regular season against Clark County, and it's not an easy task with the two post players they've got. So we almost have to kind of speed the game up on the defensive end, so we're not getting in a settle down half-court style game because, teams pounded inside on us. We're going to have a hard time playing them. So we're going to do both. I don't know what people are going to throw at us as much, but for us, we've got to do zone, man, mix it up, kind of keep people on their toes, and actually kind of keep our girls on their toes so they don't kind of, we get a little bored when we start doing the same thing over and over. And I've done nothing but man the the whole preseason and just kind of want them to really focus on where they got to be in their helps. And once they learn how to do man-to-man, then zone defense is a little bit easier to run.
Let's talk about your schedule. What do you see with your schedule this year that sets you up to get you ready for postseason run?
Well, we've got
Listen, we're live in a school right now. So I mean, we'll just roll with the punches.
We're just
okay?
going. That's
Somebody's
right.
needed in the office right now. We need to know about your schedule.
Yeah, we've got a pretty tough schedule. You know, I mentioned Clark County. Cooper is coming to us. They were a 16th region or a Sweet 16 last year. Of course, you got Ashland, Russell, and Boyd. You know, your typical top of the region teams. We're going back to the Bullet East tournament again. I think Russell's in it again as well, which was an amazing tournament last year. We played DuPont Manual out of the gate, so that'll be great for us. You know, hopefully we have another great run at the 2A. You know, we really the last several years have tried to go out and just play anybody that wants to play. You know, I want these girls ready and prepared. You know, if we're going out trying to win 25 games a year, then we're probably not playing a schedule that's going to get them prepared for the postseason, for district play, for regional play. You know, so I think I looked at our schedule in the preseason top 25. We had 5 or 6 teams that we're already playing that are in it right now. So, you know, I want to make it tough. They might not like it all the time, and I don't like losing all the time, but we want to make it tough. And you know, you've got to have a balance. You're going to have some of those games that they're not going to be very good games. You're going to have some games that you play well and you're going to win, and you got to have some of those games like you have to play really well to win this game. And we want to try to get, you know, 6 or 7 of those on our schedule where we have to be at our best to beat these teams, and that teaches them how to play under pressure. And then when it comes to the regional tournament, district tournament, then they're good to go.
Katie Chandler, Haven Ford, and Coach Matt Stokes, members of Rowan County girls basketball team. Guys, pleasure joining me and joining with you guys here today. Thank you so much for the time. Best of luck this season. We'll talk to you down the road.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll continue our coverage here on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Hit Sports Network.
When you have business away from home or a planned event far from your comfort zone, you're probably going to need a little help. Let A&A Porta Potties assist you with all your portable toilet needs. Whether on a construction site, planning for an outdoor wedding, or any other outdoor event, A&A Porta Potties are here to assist you. A&A Porta Potties also rents out storage containers, office containers, cooling fans, tables, and chairs. A&A Porta Potties, there is no event too big or too small for us to accommodate you.
Does your gas station or
Back here on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Preview Show on location at Russell High School with
industry. From routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. In addition to the Greenup location, Stultz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-through. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stultz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stultz Pharmacy.
Back here on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Hit Sports Network. Joined now with Greenup Basketball's Paul Miller and Emily Maynard, Rachel Bush. Guys, ladies, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for coming.
Coach, let's talk about the season. What do you come away with last year? You made some noise there in the 63rd, didn't get the draw that you wanted there in the tournament. You found yourself up against Russell when you come up short in the tournament there, missing out of a trip to the regional tournament. What do you take away from your team last year as you build coming in this year?
I think first and foremost, like you just said, hey, we had a good year and we experienced a lot of wins. But at the end of the day, the girls want to play in region, and we want to get to Moorhead. So the next step is exactly that. I mean, these girls have worked hard. They've done the right things. And so we took away, again, like I said last year, that we can compete. We can do some good things, but we have more to offer, especially this year with the chemistry we have. We feel like we got, we're moving in that direction.
You've got two good pieces to build around with Emily and Rachel. How much do you put around them this year coming in?
It starts with them. I mean, you can sit here and act like it's not, but, they're two girls that, the focus is going to be on. I tell them all the time that, the secret's out. So you're not going to come in here and be like, who are you? I mean, the people are going to be keying on you, but, they're absolutely people that we're going to rely on to do some, damage for sure.
When you look at your offense, that again, you're going to run through those two, what do you like about the tempo that you can play? Are you going to be up-tempo this year? Do you want to really slow it down and run through your sets? What do you like to see?
It's funny, every year it changes, and I think to be a good coach, you have to look at what you have and build around that. This year, this team reminds me of my AAU teams, I say a lot, and they all can shoot. I've got 5 kids that can spread you out, shoot the ball. So, when you talk about these two, you can't just key on them, because I do have other pieces out there that's capable of really hurting you.
Well, tell me about some of those other pieces. It's going to be a collection of these two.
Yeah, starting out, we'll have a couple of guard. I lost my backcourt, so everybody out there knows that. But, this summer I came in and was pleasantly surprised. I had Kennedy Spencer came in as a 9th grader this year. She's going to handle the ball for us out front. And then I have Daria Crum that's on the play a 2 guard. And then, of course, I have Schaefer that's going to play a 5 for me. So those are 3 key players that's going to start with these girls.
Yeah, when you lose someone like an Emma Frazier that handled the ball for you so much, Taylor Gammon that was a good wing shooter for you, those are pieces of the puzzle that you had to find immediately to move forward.
That's right. I mean, there's no shying away from it. You had to stick the ball in their hands this summer and say, hey, you're just going to have to grow as you go. And we played big talent. I mean, I was telling people the other day, we played Sacred Heart, which is #1, and I showed the girls the other day, out of the top 25, we played 5 teams this summer. So I pushed them. I put them up against the best, and I think they absolutely rang the bell.
Knowing the fact that you're without your point guard from the last few years and you got a new person there that has to be tested, how much do you turn the intensity up on the defensive side of things, of knowing that your offense has to come from your defense?
In order for us to win, we got to be in the 40s, maybe 50s, and against good teams, that's tough to do. And I know stopping transition to defense is going to be key for us, because we don't want to get up and down with a lot of these teams that are very athletic. So we're trying to keep it in the 40s. We're going to play a little bit of everything, a little bit of man, a little bit of zones. We've been working on some different things out of zone. I got some length, so I think that will challenge shooters, and we should be good.
Oh, Rachel, you're one of those players he talks about with the length. And something that you offer is you can work from the post, but you've really developed that mid-range part of your game that's taking your game to the next level. How much does that give you those other options of being able to score the basketball?
I enjoy shooting the mid-range more than I do anything. I would rather have my foot on the line than I would my foot off the line. But, I mean, honestly, I can shoot the ball from the 3 mid-range, and I can take it to the basket, so I feel like that's a pretty good thing.
Having an ability to take the ball to the basket off the dribble, especially when you get in man coverage, when people are manned up against you, how much does that really open up what you can do offensively?
It really helps a lot, especially this year. All of our players can shoot, so if I take it and drive it to the basket and I get 2, I can kick it out to our teammates, and I know they're capable of knocking down the shot.
Well, no, one of those players you like to kick to is the one over here on the left. But Emily, she's a dead eye from that corner. Having the ability this year for that dribble drive and then kicking out for those capable shooters, is that something that you guys really focus on offensively?
Yes, it's just pretty much we're just playing basketball. Like if you have an opening, drive the ball, kick it, or screen and roll. So, I mean, we're pretty much just playing whatever the opening is.
Emily, for you, having that option of the catch and shoot, that's kind of your expectation. Does that allow you to kind of focus on doing what you feel more comfortable doing?
It does, because I know I can trust Rachel kicking it out to me or my other teammates, really. But it opens up shots a lot without setting up our sets or anything. So like Rachel said, we just have the capability of going out and playing basketball.
Having the ability with your point guard, one that can do the dribble drive, but also with having Rachel the ability that she can do the dribble drive as well, how much does that open up not only you but other players around that perimeter that can get those open looks?
It opens up a lot, really. All of our players can really shoot. Most of them can drive, too, off the dribble. And, you know, we have really good ball movement and chemistry this year, too. Like, everybody trusts each other. So it's not just one person.
Trust is the big factor there with defense. Defensively, how much have you guys had to buy into what Coach was saying? You know you need to be around 40, 50 points a night to be able to stay in the ball game.
Well, we've always been told, like, defense is going to win our games. Offense will come later, but if we're not knocking down shots that night or anything, we have to step it up on defense. So it's a really key role in our games this year.
Getting to the free throw line, I know that's something that Coach Miller's always been big on. And for both of you, how much has he challenged you to go to that level of getting to the free throw line more?
A lot.
It's funny you say that. That's all I talk about.
Coach didn't tell me this either, by the way. So.
I think our pregame meeting, you told me I should be getting to the line like 10 times a game.
Easy,
Rachel,
yeah,
like
absolutely.
15.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot.
Rachel, for you, does it, knowing the ability that you have from the free throw line, you've been 80% or better the last 2 seasons from the charity stripe. Having that opportunity of knowing there's free points there, does that kind of elevate your game, especially when you touch the ball inside the paint?
Yeah, I mean, I just got to trust my free throw shot, too. I mean, I practice it every single day. And, I mean, if I get fouled, you have to make the basket. I mean, it's kind of pointless if you're not going to make it. I mean, it's free. That's what my parents tell me all the time.
So we're thinking free in life except for taxes.
That's exactly right.
You know those are coming.
We spend a lot of time in the weight room, too. And, I mean, that's another thing that these girls won't tell you. But we spend a ton of time in the weight room to where they can take those bumps, finish that. And, I mean, you wouldn't believe how this one here's stronger than I am, I believe.
She scares me. I'm telling you. I had her in class, too. So, both of these I had in class. Yeah. Let's talk about your schedule. Yeah. What do you like about your schedule? How does it challenge you? How does it set you up for postseason run?
I was telling you earlier, we started out with one of the best teams in Ohio, probably the #1 team preseason. At a scrimmage, we played Fairland over there, and they're loaded. I mean, he told me he was 11 deep, and I believe it. I mean, so... And then we went to Morgan County. We played Morgan here, and so that were 2 great scrimmages we had. But outside of that, we opened up with Portsmouth West, and Portsmouth West won 21 games last year, and I think they got 4 starters coming back. So I told the girls, I said, we're going to get tested right off the bat, which is good. I mean, we're going to play Ashland. We got Russell twice, and I mean, we got some good Notre Dame over in Ohio. We play them, so we're definitely going to be tested.
Coach, best of luck this season. Always a pleasure. We'll talk to you guys throughout the year.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Coach Paul Miller, Emily Maynard, and Rachel Bush, members of Greenup County Girls Basketball. We'll continue after this as we continue on the Boys and Girls 16th Region Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Sports Network.
When you shop and invest locally, you put in motion a sequence of actions which multiplies the money that is available in our area to create jobs and provide emergency services, police, and fire protection, as well as improving the quality of education in our local schools. Shop and invest locally whenever you can. First in People's Bank and Trust Company, member FDIC. We are the home office.
You've thought for a long time about keeping your firearms and valuables safe and out of harm's way. Borders Sporting Goods has the area's greatest selection of Liberty safes and a wide range of sizes, styles, and colors. And Borders also has the Tri-State's best and most complete selection of firearms, hunting supplies, fishing supplies, archery supplies, knives, camo, and boots. From the smallest fishing hook to the largest Liberty safe, the best brands, the best selection, and the best prices in the Tri-State are at Borders Sporting Goods, Route 60 West in Ashland, where your money will be well spent.
What do you look for in a pharmacy? Healthy Way Pharmacy always takes care of any prescription needs, but also has a wide variety of home medical equipment complete with delivery service. At Healthy Way, the wait is always shorter and the prices are usually less. Call 928-1001 for any questions. They're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and Saturday from 9 to 1. Healthy Way Pharmacy and Home Medical Supply, US 60 Cannonsburg, next to the KDMC Outreach Center and in Sandy Hook.
Johnny's Pizza, 117 West Main Street in Grayson, is a small, non-chain chain restaurant with more than just pizza with great dough and sauces. Johnny's also has wings, subs, pastas, salads, baked potatoes, fries, onion rings, buffalo chips, pickled chips, calzones, iced coffee, milkshakes, and more. And Johnny's dressings are homemade. The friendly staff, great service, and a menu unlike any other pizza place. You'll see why Johnny's is the best. Johnny's Pizza, 117 West Main Street in Grayson. Check them out on Facebook.
Back here on the 16th Region Boys and Girls Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Sports Network. James Collier now at Raceland Worthington High School, joined with head coach Marty Thomas. Coach, good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. And ladies, Emma Broughton and Nim Maynard, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Coach, let's talk about the season. You first year here with Raceland and trying to put your own personal spin on it this year. What do you take away from what you saw from the program before you took over, and what's your kind of goals this year early on?
So we have here at Raceland, we have a tradition of having a big heart, right? And I want to keep the heart in Raceland, you know. So I think that's one thing that we can kind of hang our hat on, is that we're not going to be outworked, we're not going to be out-hearted on the floor. I grew up scoring a lot of points, so I like offense, but in order to play offense, you play defense first. So I'm a defense-first coach.
Well, that was the first thing I was going to ask you. Your days at Ashland, you know how to put it through the hoop. You've scored several baskets. How do you bring that philosophy of the way that you played offense at the high school level to now the coaching level?
That's very interesting. It's a lot of buy-in. It's a lot of buy-in to the off-season. You know, shooters are made in the off-season. It's all those hours and repetition that you put forth there, right? And then it's up to me to facilitate it during the year as well. But given an offensive flow that gives the opportunities for those to shoot the shots where they're making the shots, right? So there are higher percentage shots for them.
Now, so many coaches, especially at this level, everybody knows your defense creates your offense. And again, that's another one of those things. You have to be bought into the defensive mentality. What do you look about your team and the defense that they can possess that is going to give you those scoring opportunities at the other end?
I see us as a very deep team that is able to play defense at a very stellar pace, aggressive pace. And if you're tired, you come out, you go back in. So we should look forward to a good rotation on that to be able to put forth more effort on defense in order to get those offensive results you're talking about.
Well, let's talk about the two ladies that we've got with us here today. Both can score it very well. Nim led the team last year, averaging about 15 a game. Emma was right there behind her, not too far. What do you see that they bring to the table with the way that they score the basketball?
You know, these two ladies right here are ladies that can score not just at this level, but at the next level. And that's a big statement for as young as they are, but it's a true statement. I just can't wait for everybody to see that potential that I see in them. We have a lot of force as far as being able to score through contact, wonderful jump shots, being able to take players off the dribble, all-around packages of scores. So you're looking at a scorer to my right and a scorer to my left, not just shooters, not just role players, but scorers. They can score in multiple ways. Right.
What do you talk about scoring multiple ways? Obviously, Nim, she gets to the basket very well. She can score it off the dribble. She can facilitate it as well. Emma's a good player that can sit over there in that corner. She can hit that jump shot. She can knock down that long-range jump shot. Having those two on the floor at the same time that can really play off each other, how much does that facilitate the way your offense wants to go, but also give those other three players on the team ample opportunities to score the basketball?
Yeah, it's always easier to play when there's other players around you that are facilitating great things on the court. You know, one thing that we said about them, or you said about them just now, is very true, but the other thing that's great about them, they're excellent passers. They make everyone else on the court better with them, right? With them.
Nim, for you, obviously you can score it off the bounce, and that is your first. You'd like to attack. But being a scoring mentality point guard, having the ability to be able to facilitate, was that something that came natural to you as well, or was it something you really had to work toward?
It came naturally because I have not been the greatest shooter my whole life. So working so hard shooting comes with being able to pass the ball. So say my shot's off one game, we can't lose, so I have to be able to pass the ball to my teammates. So it just builds up and becomes greater and greater over time.
For you last year as an 8th grader, you were put in some big shoes to fill there, trying to run a varsity level offense. How much did you watch the game kind of slow down as the year went along, as you got more comfortable on the floor?
Well, the more I worked, the more I could see how I could handle the pressure. And honestly, you just have to think that you're in control of the game. And once you build that confidence, then it just comes and goes as it is.
For you being a natural scorer, have you learned the ability of how valuable getting those assists out to your other teammates give you more opportunities to score the basketball?
Yes, because if I was not the greatest passer, then one defender can guard me and we could not get the points we went up, but being able to pass the ball really just spreads out the whole defense.
Emma, for you, first off, are you a better shooter than your brother? We've kidded about this a couple times.
Yeah, I don't think.
I'm going to say yes.
I want to give Kyle credit, but I think I'm going to catch up to him soon.
Now, it was a fun situation last year. He had the big game. You came behind him and had another big game. I was a part of both of those. And it's fun to be a part of stuff like that because you get a chance to kid back at this. But the Broughton name, do you feel like that you have a legacy to follow with Big Brother coming through?
Yes, I definitely do, because he's always been known as the kid that can shoot the ball, and I'm trying to not come close to that, but do more than that, because I just know I have big shoes to fill.
For you, a catch and shoot type of player, but being able to score it from the bounce and more importantly, move without the basketball, is those two things that you really have worked in the offseason to try to get better in?
Yeah, like from open gyms and just getting in the gym on my own. It's really important to do that because I know that we're going to need that this year.
Defensively, Coach has talked about it. You have to be able to buy in defense to make your offense. How much have you seen the way that Coach's philosophy has been this year coming in his first year? Defense first and then offense.
And the first few days in practice, we actually only worked on defense. And it's hard, but we have to do it because defense gets you the ball and just to go into offense.
And Coach, I can speak for a fact that I know that your defense has gotten around because I've listened to people, I'll say it in this, talk about the defensive practices. Right. But it's something, again, when you are trying to put your name on a program, you got to start from the foundation.
Absolutely. I didn't go completely Coach Carter on them, but we didn't touch a basketball for a while. We definitely zoned in and concentrated on defense, but, you know, really the defensive philosophy of our team. You know, what are our principles? What are we willing to, lose with? Not just how are we going to win, but we're going to stay with this scenario and willing to lose with that scenario, right, from a defensive standpoint.
Looking at the two girls that we've got with us here today, who's some other players we're going to see on the floor this year that's going to have to be those complement pieces that's going to add to what they're going to bring each and every night?
Oh, Kennedy Taylor, transferred in. She's looking to play her first varsity season in a couple seasons now. She'll have a good impact for us. Reagan Mackey. Reagan's going to be a nice physical force for us. Reagan's one of those players that just brings intensity. Chastity Thomas has worked on her three-point shot from the wing. You start listing players and you don't want to leave anybody out. I was talking before about this deep bench that we have, and it is a deep bench. We have a lot of players that can come into our rotation that go all the way down to our sophomores and our freshmen.
Talking about Reagan, she brings a level of physicality to everything that she's a part of, whether it's volleyball, softball, or basketball. How much do you see the girls feed off of what she brings?
You can definitely see an energy level pick up whenever she's involved. Whenever she was continuing the run in the regional tournament with the volleyball team, which did excellent this year, we were missing her in those practices. And then when she came in, it was just instantly, right? There was just another level that we went to, right? Just because Mackey's in the house,
You look at your schedule this year, obviously being a member of the 63rd District, and that one is a gauntlet no matter what you've got, with Russell sitting there at the top, and then obviously Lewis County has been very solid over the last years, and Greenup County trying to make the upward stretch like you guys are. What do you see about your schedule that get you ready for those 6 important district games?
Well, there's no easy games there. The teams that you just mentioned, it's a very competitive district, and I think we've laid out a really good schedule to get ourselves prepared for that.
Coach, greatly appreciate the time. Best of luck this season. Looking forward to bringing some of the games throughout Kool TV, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Coach Marty Thomas and Nim Maynard, Emma Broughton, joining us here as members of Raceland girls basketball team. We'll continue with the 16th Region Boys and Girls Basketball Preview Show as we continue here on Kool TV.
Smithfield Foods in Grayson is a proud community partner, taking pride in providing a safe and friendly environment for their workers and for the community. Smithfield Foods is always ready to support our growing community any way they can. Smithfield Foods is the world's largest pork processor and hog producer, and they're committed to providing good food in a responsible and environmentally safe way. Proud to be a part of the community. Smithfield Foods in Grayson.
Home is where you hang your hat. And if you're looking for a newer, nicer home to hang your hat in, talk to the Commercial Bank of Grayson. You'll like our selection of fixed and adjustable rate mortgages and competitive rates. We also offer construction loans, auto loans, online and mobile banking, and many other services. Commercial Bank of Grayson. Grayson and Olive Hill. Here for you for 125 years and counting. And you can hang your hat on that. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
For those on the go, the smoothie connoisseur, the break room favorite, and for those that just never quite have it all, Clark's has what you need to keep your day on track. Make life easier and keep your busy schedule moving forward with everything you need at Clark's. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back here on the Boys and Girls 63s basketball preview show on the road to Sandy Hook. And here at Elliott County High School, joined with head coach Greg Atkins. Coach, thanks for joining us this afternoon.
James, thanks for having us.
Hey, let's talk about some basketball. Here we are, hard to believe it's time for basketball already. It seemed like we just finished up the regional tournament not too long ago. But the question I have for you, does it ever stop basketball in Elliott County?
Yeah, it never stops. It's year-round. It's year-round. This particular group, they give so much energy. They're very excited. They're very enthusiastic. We're looking forward to the season.
You know, you had a nice run there in the regional tournament. I was talking to someone earlier this week and said that was probably the best game of the entire regional tournament, that game against Boyd County. Those last 2 minutes of the game, what a back and forth battle it was. You guys come up on the back side of it, but certainly a game that you wanted to build off of moving forward.
Oh, definitely. The expectations here is high, and sometimes that's a burden. But at the end of the day, I think that's our kids believe that they're supposed to be good, and we work hard to achieve that.
You look at your roster, and I think it's easy to say this is not the roster you expected to have coming into this year, but things may be what they are. You take the hand that you're dealt and you move forward.
Oh, absolutely. This group right here, they give me so much energy. They come in, they give everything they got each day. Kind of really my spark today. So it's been a pleasure, and we're excited to step out in some real competition. We beat on each other all preseason, so we'll kind of figure out where things are at.
What's those goals that you write on that marker board as you come into the season saying, this is what we have to achieve this year if we want to get to where you want to be?
Without putting unfair expectations on anybody, I think our program's to the point that a regional championship is expected. Some years you may achieve it, some years you may not. But everything we do in practice is geared towards that. District championship, obviously, we're going to play. We're going to play to achieve it.
When you look at your roster and from where you thought you were going to be to where you are this year, obviously some pencil scratching had to go in there to figure things out. But when you start penciling those guys in, especially in practice, have you seen those guys that you expected to fill those voids really step to the case?
They have in practice. And again, we're untested. We got to step out. We're going to play real teams. We're beating on each other every day. But the guys we've had, they're showing up. They're getting everything they got. They're getting everything they've got. I really like the direction they're moving.
Well, let's bring in your two players here. Introduce them to me first, and then we'll give them a few moments here.
There's Kyler Fan and Nathan Sturgeon, two guys that's really working hard to lead the program. I think they've got us going in the right direction in practice. Now we got to get out of the real waters. We got to see what it's all about.
Nathan, when you look at this year, what's the one thing for you coming in, making that next step forward, becoming more of a person that is not so much as a backup player, more of a role player for this team moving forward? What's been that big for you?
Rebounds. It's really something we've just been focusing on in practice, just getting through offenses and practicing rebounding.
Coach talked about it. He said you're tired of beating on each other in practice. Are you ready to see an opposite opponent?
Yeah, it makes a big difference, going from practice, beating up on each other, and then going into the game. Just physicality is still there, but it's different going out there and doing it in the game.
Tough loss last year in the regional tournament, but we talk all the time. We say, I don't think basketball ever stops in Elliott County. How soon are you guys back in the gymnasium?
Week really, not really practicing, but everybody comes up here, shoots, scrimmage a little bit, but usually just every day.
How about summer workouts? What did you take in the summer for you personally, wanting to try to get better? Was it working on going to the class more assertively?
A lot of body strength, just getting bigger, just core stuff, and just focus on the game.
Kyler, for you, Elliott County is known hair on fire up and down the floor as fast as you can possibly go. Is that something that you're more accustomed to?
Yeah, definitely.
What's the one thing about playing basketball here for the Lions that you really take personal, that is something that you enjoy doing more than anything else?
What's the energy been like so far?
It's been really good. I'm really vocal, and we're ready for the season.
What's the biggest challenge you've had for you coming in this year that you wanted to see yourself get better?
Goalie condition wise and shot selection. Getting right shot.
Is there a possible, and I kid Greg about this all the time, is there a bad shot in Elliott County basketball?
I think so.
Coach knows this. I've given him a hard time. I said, Coach, there have been teams that I've seen in the past that it's been seen year after year. You're across half court. It's a good shot selection.
Yeah, a lot of the time. But at the same time, we got to work for quality shots. And this group right here, I think, we're going to put 4 or 5 guys on the board to shoot basketball. It's just a matter of getting experience. You got to get out there and do it for the grads.
You look at the makeup of your team. I've seen you guys run a 5-man week before. I've seen you go down low with the Buckner kid when you had him. He's gone to graduation. What do you look at this year that you think your makeup is?
I think we can shoot the basketball. I see it every day. We got to get out there in the game setting and make that a proven fact. For us, I think Nathan hit on it pretty strong this rebound basketball. If we can rebound, I think we got a chance to really good. And then it's go through the process. There's going to be times you get knocked out, have to get back out, and learn. And at the end of the day, we're not playing for regular season wins. We're playing to be our best at the end of the season.
You play in, as I think it's arguably one of the toughest districts in the entire state of Kentucky, the 62nd. Night in and night out, you know it's going to be a physical battle, no matter whether you're in West Liberty, Oliveville, or Grayson. It's going to be a tough battle. But more importantly, when you guys bring those guys here, this place, everybody shuts everything down, and this place is packed.
It is. Our community is fantastic. We have tremendous support from the school system and the community as well. They come out and they support these kids. And, at the end of the day, we just got to focus. We got to be our best to be good.
What's the one goal that you look at going into the season that you want to see personally achieved more than anything?
I think the basketball side, I think it's real life. I think you got to handle the person. You got to handle negatives. You got to handle positives. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. Let's stay steady. Let's keep climbing. So that is the biggest thing I'd probably get with this particular group. Just adversity. Life's not always easy.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me here today. Coach, always a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you down the stretch. Hey, we're back for more after this as we continue here on the 16th Region Boys and Girls Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Sports Network.
Smithfield Foods in Grayson is a proud community partner, taking pride in providing a safe and friendly environment for their workers and for the community. Smithfield Foods is always ready to support our growing community any way they can. Smithfield Foods is the world's largest pork processor and hog producer, and they're committed to providing good food in a responsible and environmentally safe way. Proud to be a part of the community. Smithfield Foods in Grayson.
Home is where you hang your hat. And if you're looking for a newer, nicer home to hang your hat in, talk to the Commercial Bank of Grayson. You'll like our selection of fixed and adjustable rate mortgages and competitive rates. We also offer construction loans, auto loans, online and mobile banking, and many other services. Commercial Bank of Grayson, Grayson and Olive Hill, here for you for 125 years and counting. And you can hang your hat on that. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
For those on the go, the smoothie connoisseur, the break room favorite, and for those that just never quite have it all, Clark's has what you need to keep your day on track. Make life easier and keep your busy schedule moving forward with everything you need at Clark's. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Thank you for watching the 16th Region Boys and Girls Basketball Preview Show on the Kool Sports Network and Kool TV. Tonight's broadcast has been brought to you in part by Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State, River Cities Builders, A&A Porta Potties, Skulls Pharmacy, Kentucky Farmers Bank, First and People's Bank, Porter Sporting Goods, Healthy Way Pharmacy, Johnny's Pizza, Smithfield Foods, and the Commercial Bank of Grayson. This has been an exclusive sports presentation on the Kool Sports Network and Kool TV.